As of today, Count Lesseltine said sternly, you are to step away from all the businesses run by the family, Rachel. Rachel Lesseltine stared at him in disbelief. I tried to give you an equal opportunity as my second-born, the Count continued, but I was short-sighted. Turning to his firstborn, he asked, what do you think of this proposal, Raymond? Raymond Lesseltine, the Count's eldest, responded coolly. The effort is commendable, but that is all. It seems like a business that would struggle to succeed, even within this empire. And as for exporting, honestly, the losses would be immense. The proposal was about a machine that makes baking pastries easier? Rachel, standing there, noticed. Isn't that just a waffle maker? She hummed thoughtfully. I'll have to keep that proposal for later. With a firm tone, Raymond addressed Rachel. From now on, leave all business matters to me and focus on your engagement plans instead. Absolutely. Speaking of which, the Count said, I've just sent a letter to the palace. Rachel's eyes widened. A letter to the palace? What for? I will support your engagement to the Crown Prince, the Count announced. Rachel's breath caught. Engagement? To the Crown Prince? After all, that's what you wanted, isn't it? He asked calmly. I gave the letter to Chin, so by now, the carriage should have already left. Rachel bolted upright. I'll take my leave then. What? The Count shouted. Where are you going? Rachel Lesseltine. But Rachel doesn't stop and rushed to the butler. As he was about to leave in carriage, Rachel shouted, Wait! He stopped and turns to her. She was huffing and puffing. The butler asked, Milady? What is the matter? Is there a new item you'd like to get? Give me my engagement letter! She snatches the letter from his hand and ripped it apart. The butler fell in shock, bewildered. She said, You know how I constantly change my mind. In her mind she said, I've just blocked one of my family's paths to downfall. She recalled reading the novel, Stop Messing with the Side Characters, the ultimate heroine-centered, justice always prevails fantasy. 2 days ago, she was reincarnated into this story. She died in her past life. She recalled, I had lost my parents at a young age and spent my life as the breadwinner for my sibling. I had even managed to land a job in a major corporation's international sales department. But from what I remember, my life ended in death by overwork. All I wanted was to see my sibling get into school before I died. Still, I had no regrets except one. I never got to fulfill my passion for baking. My pastries were seriously delicious. I wanted to save up and open my own bakery. So once she adjusted to this new world, she started looking forward to making her dream come true. This world is filled with magic-powered tools of all kinds. And the family she was reborn into? They'd amassed incredible wealth through magical artifact production. Their name is Lesseltine. And the one who completely ruined that fortune was none other than the Villainess, Rachel. Every business venture she touched ended in disastrous failure. In the original story, she tormented the heroine only to be destroyed by her in the end. But she remembers the story inside and out. As long as she avoids the pitfalls, she can escape the disaster. Now, the first thing she started is reading market research on the baking industry in Thean Empire. She felt determined. Nothing can stand in the way of my dream. And just like that, her passion for baking began to burn brighter than ever. So, the Count said slowly, You tore the engagement letter into shreds? Yes, I did, Rachel declared proudly. And this is my new business proposal. She laid out the plans before him. She said inwardly, the first business proposal of the reborn Rachel. Fine, the Count said after a pause. But there's one condition. If this business fails, you will marry the leader of the Denave Merchant Guild. The leader of Denave, Rachel whispered. That must mean Daniel Denave. She thinks so. He's already convinced my business won't succeed. Daniel is politically neutral, free of scandal, and a well-matched candidate for our family. He's also one of the male lead candidates in the original story. The Countess seemed to care for his daughter. He even considered an engagement with the Crown Prince, despite his neutral political stance. Though I don't like the idea of marrying someone just because my parents decided it. If my business fails, Rachel said solemnly, I'll do as you say. The Count sighed. Good. Once you clean up the mess, return immediately, she pointed out. If I fail. Where are you planning to open your bakery? The Count asked. She replied. Lil Frost, 7th Avenue, near Duke Hessen's mansion. That place has no strategic advan. He paused, then sighed. Never mind, she observed. I can literally see his last bit of hope disappearing. Anyway, the Count generously purchased a building for her. Even though he technically owns it, it's still a win for her. She doesn't have to pay rent. Later at a moment she was busy in thought. I may not have liquid funds in my name yet, but I do have an untouched mine. My lady, are you seriously going out alone? Matilda asked in disbelief. Dressed as a maid, without a guard. I promise you won't get into trouble, Matilda, Rachel assured her. She bribed her with an ornament and added, Can I count on you to keep a secret? Of course, my lady. You can absolutely count on me. Matilda quickly changed. I'll make sure you won't get caught before you return safely. Good. Rachel smiled. I'm counting on you. Rachel thinks in her mind. As expected, she quickly changed her attitude. Rachel trusted Matilda the most. But in the end, she had always been Raymond's loyal servant. Still, Matilda never hides her emotions, and that's something I appreciate. Later, You're here on an errand for Lady Rachel? The coachman asked. Rachel replied disguised as a maid. Yes, she said it's an important matter. You must be new, he said with pity. It must be tough working as Lady Rachel's maid. Most can't quit fast enough. Hearing that, she laughed bitterly. Being criticized for things that happened before I was reincarnated feels quite odd. However, thanks to that, he's letting me ride without a second thought. Then he asked, Where are we headed then? She replied, To the square. Citron Square. But her real destination is elsewhere. She doesn't want Raymond to catch wind of it, because she's about to secure funds for her bakery. At another place in capital, a duke and his companion were riding horses. His companion said it had been half a year since they last returned to the capital. We head to the borders every year for the monster hunt, and yet, each time we return, it feels as though ages has passed. Now that the reports are finally done, it is time to return to the mansion. Suddenly the duke galloped the horse, rushed towards something. His companion gets surprised. Coming soon! A colorful poster proclaimed. The finest strawberry specialty bakery. Opening on Lil Frost 7th Avenue. The duke was staring at the poster. What's the matter, your grace? His companion asked as Duke Carhan Hessen came to a stop, eyes locked on the advertisement. Someone posted this on a tree. The duke muttered, tone clipped. His companion said, I'll check right away if it's authorized. Never mind. The duke added coldly after a pause. His companion shrieked, he seems angry. I should take it down right away, the knight thought. But he approached the tree, the poster disappeared, only to blink in confusion. Wait, where did it go? The duke had already sneaked it inside his robe. Meanwhile, in a quiet hallway of the Citron Central Bank. The person you're here to meet is? The receptionist asked. President Robert Denave, Rachel replied calmly. I have an urgent matter to discuss with him regarding an investment. Ah, just a moment. I must have dozed off in the carriage, she added with a soft chuckle. The receptionist, unfazed, gave a polite smile. If you wish to meet the bank president, please schedule an appointment and come back again. After hearing that dry response, Rachel thought, as expected, they won't just let me in. Rachel took a deep breath. She hadn't wanted to draw attention, but now, she had no other choice. She plopped to the ground and cried out loud. Then let me meet the head of the Denave Guild instead, she declared. Daniel Denave? Her voice echoed through the marble walls. The receptionist blinked. Why are you suddenly asking for him here? Daniel! Rachel called out. The receptionist gasped. Guards! Someone stop her! But Rachel continued, calling Daniel Denave. The guards apprehended her and said, You're seriously asking for the man who's practically the bank president's mortal enemy? In here? What's all this commotion? A new voice cut through the chaos. President Robert Denave had arrived. Rachel turned to face him directly. Ah, there you are, President Denave. I'm here to inform you about a promising investment opportunity, specifically about expanding into the Avir Kingdom market. As he heard that, he flinched. Rachel continued, Do you have a moment to talk? The person looked at her suspiciously. He narrowed his eyes. Moments later, both of them were in his office. While entering, the president instructed his servant, You don't have to prepare tea. He went past by Rachel and went to his desk. Then he pulls out a cigarette and lights it. Rachel said, You don't have to put on an act. I know you hate the smell of cigarettes. Upon hearing that, he gets stunned for a moment. That's nonsense, he replied smoothly. Come on. You're literally holding your breath right now, aren't you? She said, one eyebrow raised. Standing before her was Daniel Denave, the leader of the Denave Merchant Guild, and Robert Denave, the president of Citron Central Bank. Or rather, they were one and the same. The twin brothers were infamous for being on bad terms, never meeting in public. But in truth, after Robert died, Daniel had been secretly posing as him ever since. Come to think of it, Rachel mused, He must be insanely busy running 2 identities, 2 reputations 24 hours a day. I kind of feel bad for him, especially since I died from overwork in my past life. As far as I know, Daniel said, slipping seamlessly into his role. Robert has never met you before, Rachel replied. I thought someone in your position would understand when certain sources can't be disclosed. She wore out her hat, straightened, and spoke confidently. I'll at least introduce myself. I'm Rachel Lesseltine of House Lesseltine. He looks at her for a moment, then said, I've never seen the lady in person, but I've heard she's an exceptional beauty. She went and washed her face, then came back. She said, Look, I'm absolutely Rachel Lesseltine. He questioned, You? Beauty? Rachel balked. Does he have unusual standards of beauty? I never expected this to happen in a romance fantasy. Well, it can't be helped, she sighed. She again plopped to the ground. Wait a second, Daniel stammered suddenly. I'll have your tea ready. Just, please don't lie down on the floor. Moments later they were facing each other sitting on sofas. Before we get to the point, Daniel said, growing serious, I need you to promise to keep my identity a secret, she replied casually. Fine, she took a sip then said, Next spring, diamonds will be the hottest trend in Avir's high society. If you invest in a diamond mine now, you're guaranteed an enormous return, he replied. Oh, well, coming from you, that sounds like such a reliable piece of information. The empire may be stable, but the rest of the world is facing famine due to the sandstorms, and diamond mines have practically dried up. Daniel countered, skeptical. If you can't even disclose your source, how can I trust you enough to make a deal with you? Rachel's eyes sharpened. You're preparing to export wheat, aren't you? She asked quietly. He stilled. She continued, The very wheat that serves as the empire's staple grain. I'm here to help you. Daniel, the world was in crisis. Massive sandstorms had triggered a widespread famine, devastating regions across the continent. Though the empire narrowly avoided direct disaster, its wheat supplies suddenly became a highly sought-after commodity. Sensing opportunity, merchant guilds rushed to export wheat at skyrocketing prices. But if this trend continued, even the empire's own reserves would be at risk of running dry. To prevent this outcome, the emperor called for urgent solutions. It was the crown prince who proposed a temporary ban on wheat exports, a bold move that immediately earned him overwhelming support from the people. Now, with strict enforcement measures about to begin, even powerful guilds like Denave wouldn't be able to slip through the coming crackdown. Before you get caught, Rachel said sharply, burn all your wheat. Daniel's eyes widened. That would be an unforgivable crime against the people. Then what are you going to do? She asked. Daniel clenches his fist and asked, You know another way out of this, don't you? You came here to offer me that alternative, in exchange for something you want. If you give me a solution other than burning the wheat, I'll compensate you accordingly. Rachel smiled faintly. I like how quickly you get to the point. I want a shell account. Under Citron Bank. President Robert. Daniel stiffened. That's impossible. It would compromise our bank's credibility. Besides, account access is strictly limited to the owner. So, there's no need for a shell account, she countered coolly. Well, but what if someone in my family bribes a bank employee to access my funds? Not everyone can resist that temptation, he replied. In that case, I'll lend you an account under my name. I don't want to do anything shady that might tarnish my brother's name. Rachel raised an eyebrow. That means you could just pretend later that the money was always yours, he said. I've built my entire career on trust. If you can't trust me, then you can't trust anyone. Bold words, Rachel said, amused. Fine. I'll use your account. There's a large warehouse behind my building on Lilfrost 7th Avenue, she added. You can store all the wheat there. Daniel's brows furrowed. Isn't that near Duke Hessen's estate? He's the crown prince's close ally. That's too risky. The best place to hide, Rachel replied with a smirk, is right under the enemy's nose. Don't worry, just move it. Besides, the warehouse belongs to Rachel Lesseltine, the ultimate symbol of business failure. Stockpiling ingredients without much thinking? Completely in character. Daniel paused, thinking, this confidence, she's serious about this. As warehouse rental, Rachel continued, I'd like you to sell me a portion of your wheat at half price. Since I need to get rid of the wheat anyway, Daniel said, I can sell you all I have. But she could sense hesitation behind his calm exterior. He probably wants to donate some of it. Unbeknownst to most, Daniel had been secretly making charitable contributions to the poor for years. When famine strikes, it's never the nobles who suffer, it's the poor. especially the children in foster homes. There's a foster home on Lilfrost 12th Avenue, Rachel told him. I plan to donate all leftover bread and pastries there every day. She stands up and announced, and just you know, I'll be making a lot of delicious bread and pastries. Daniel blinked. You're really planning to donate that much? Are you sure? She replied quickly. Of course. I can afford to thanks to low-cost ingredients. Now, she added, shall we draft the contract? Agreed, Daniel said, placing the document on table. Let's do it immediately. Wait, suddenly he asked. Which diamond mine are we contracting? Hector mine, she replied casually. He raised a concern. Wasn't that an abandoned site? It only ever yielded some copper at best. Soon, it'll produce diamonds, she said. You trust my intel, don't you, Mr. Alias? His eyes narrowed. What will it take for you to tell me your source? Name your price. Rachel only smiled. You'll have to wait. And just like that, a contract with a massive penalty clause was finalized. But that wasn't all. For now, Rachel explained, all extracted diamonds must be exported exclusively to the Avir Kingdom. That will cause diamond prices within the empire to skyrocket due to scarcity. But the wealthy nobles, Daniel said, catching on, will still pay any price to get their hands on them. Which means, she concluded, we can sell at insanely high prices and donate even more, he remarked. Sounds good, then said. It's an honor to do business with you, Lady Rachel. That's my line. She grinned. With a strong appeal centered on charitable donations, she had also secured a distribution contract. Mission accomplished. She now had all the wheat flour she needed for her bakery. Back at the shop, she examined her freshly cleaned workspace. Is this clean enough? She murmured. Still, I want to bake at least one batch before sunset. She readied herself. White bread recipe. Ingredients: bread flour, yeast, sugar, salt, milk, eggs, butter. The ingredients here taste slightly different from the ones in my past life, so I need to rediscover the perfect recipe. She measured the flour, yeast, and sugar into a large bowl, adding a pinch of salt. In separate bowls, she adjusted the ratios slightly and took careful notes. Then she whisked the eggs into the milk and poured the mixture in. As the dough began to come together, she rolled up her sleeves. Time for some serious kneading, she exclaimed. I'm so happy. I want to bake in my own bakery forever. She thought, when I first started baking, my younger sibling always ate my failed attempts without a single complaint. I wonder, are they doing well without me? While the dough rose, she started making meringue cookies. Then she remembers, wait a second. I also have a sibling in this life. After giving birth to Raymond, Countess Lesseltine suffered multiple miscarriages. Overwhelmed with grief, she adopted a child, Rachel Lesseltine. And against all odds, she gave birth once more. That youngest daughter became the very reason Rachel turned into a villainess. She decided, I was planning to give the best loaf to the Count, but maybe I should give one to my little sister as well. Staying on good terms with family would definitely make survival easier. Second proofing complete. While she waited, she took the meringue cookies out of the oven. Then she shaped the risen dough into neat portions and placed them in the bread tins. Into the oven they went. I'll keep doing this over and over, until I find the perfect golden recipe. A few days later an aide delivered a report. It said, it seems we'll need to delay mining operations to avoid the Crown Prince's scrutiny. So that's basically what he's saying, Rachel mused, just carefully worded. She thought, I guess I'll have to subtly let him know I'm counting on him to handle the money laundering side too. My lady, Matilda said timidly. Young Master Raymond asked you to stop by his office after lunch, she replied. Did he? Tell him that if he has something to say, he should come see me himself. Just then Raymond came burst opening the door. He said sternly, just in case. I decided to come myself. She felt annoyed thinking, what does he want from me now? She stands up and said, I'm sorry, but I'm a bit busy right now. Raymond asked. I heard you're leaving the house, she said. Who told you that? So did you come to praise me for it? He grits his teeth then aggressively grabs her collar. He shouted, don't be ridiculous. After what you did to Annabelle, do you really think running away from home makes it all disappear? Father isn't disowning you because of Mother's last words. That much is obvious, she thought. Mother's last words? Thanks for sharing information that wasn't in the original story. But tell me, Raymond, did you actually ask Father if that's true? You a hole, he continued shouting. You should be grateful to still have a place here. How can you act like nothing happened after you pushed your little sister into the pond? Upon hearing that she concluded, Huh! Am I the a-hole too? She whacked his hand and said, I have no intention of leaving. In her mind she said, because my bakery is here. Then she said, if you're done talking, could you leave? He lashes out. So you plan to leech off this house forever? You orphan! Saying that he left. After he left, Rachel asked, Matilda, guess what Raymond is thinking? I'll give you a bonus if you get it right, she said thoughtfully. Sister leaving home, gets angry. Sister staying home, gets angry. Maybe he didn't think that far ahead, Rachel said. Yeah, let's just go with that. So she gave her the bonus and said, by the way, Matilda, the maid asked. Yes? Rachel asked. Is what Raymond said true? Upon hearing that, Matilda gets stunned for a moment. She hesitated, saying, I don't believe those rumors, not one bit. Though within the mansion, it's treated as a fact. After hearing that, she thinks in her mind, not having Rachel's memories makes this even trickier for me. In the original story, Annabelle played a big role in making Rachel the villainess. She overreacted, exaggerated stories, and spread baseless rumors. I thought she was too young to start displaying that kind of behavior. But could it be? Then she went to Annabelle's room. A doctor was present there to observe her situation. The doctor said as Rachel approached, Lady Annabelle hasn't woken up yet. Rachel was holding a plate. She said, could you step out for a moment? I'd like to be alone with her. The doctor looked concerned. He said, Lady Annabelle is not in a condition to eat yet. Out of consideration, please refrain from eating in here as well, Lady Rachel, she replied. I wasn't planning to eat this myself. This was for Annabelle. If she were awake, the doctor took the plate with himself. While leaving, he was wary of Rachel. Rachel sat beside Annabelle's bed and started observing her. Her hair looked like fresh strawberry jam. Now that Rachel had seen her in person, something felt off. She stroked her hair and wonders, why does it feel like Rachel never hated her? Why does it feel like she actually liked this girl? She said, Wake up, Annabelle. When you do, I'll make you all the delicious treats you want. How about a slice of cake topped with fresh strawberries? Or thick slices of bread, studded with blueberries, and slathered in homemade cream cheese? Maybe we'll dig into a moist tiramisu together, even if it leaves cocoa powder all over your mouth. When you wake up, I'll drown you in pastries. So get better soon. Later, Rachel turned her attention back to her baking. I need to cool the freshly baked ones and pack up the ones that have cooled completely. Once the shop opens, I should focus on making bread that consistently sells well. But before that, she had to experiment with a variety of recipes. I won't let a single customer slip away. If I do this right, I'll be able to buy this building from Father even sooner. Just then a small figure appeared peeking from the door. She called out, Rachel! Rachel turned to her and saw Annabelle. She gets surprised. Annabelle said, I was so worried you might die. Thank you, Rachel. Annabelle grasped her hand and started snuggling with it. Rachel asked, Thank you? For what? Annabelle asked. What do you mean for what? You saved me when I fell into the pond. That came as a surprise for Rachel. She asked, How do you know that? You were probably too out of it to remember anything. Matilda was hearing to their conversation from a corner. Annabelle replied, I wasn't sure at first, but when I heard your voice yesterday in my sleep, I just knew. Rachel realized this is completely different from the rumors. How am I supposed to react? She decided. For now, let's just give her some food. She offered the sweats she was currently baking. Do you want to try this? I made it for you, Annabelle. Annabelle gets excited. Oh, really? Thank you. It looks yummy, Rachel said. Good. Go ahead and take a bite. Just then Raymond came there and shouts, Rachel, what do you think you're doing right now? Annabelle hiccuped. So Rachel felt annoyed. Ugh, what does he want now? He stepped closer and shouts, You! What do you think you're doing? Bringing Annabelle here and feeding her whatever you want? Raymond's voice rang out, indignant and sharp. I didn't know she'd come here, Rachel replied calmly. But since she's here, I'm giving her some of my homemade meringue cookies. She turned to Annabelle with a gentle smile. How do you like them, Annabelle? They're amazing. Annabelle beamed. Rachel's cookies are so sweet and yummy, so don't be too mean to her, Raymond, she added, puffing her cheeks in protest. Hurry up and say you understand. Raymond hesitated, clearly taken aback. Since I reincarnated as Rachel, no one has ever defended me, Rachel thought silently. And yet, Annabelle just did. Annabelle turned to Raymond, her voice trembling slightly. And what were you doing when I fell into the pond, Raymond? I was so scared. But Rachel used a whisk to fight off a giant octopus monster, and she smacked a lizard the size of the mansion with an oven tray. Both Rachel and Raymond gets bewildered upon hearing that. Annabelle continued, and she promised to make me lots of yummy pastries when I woke up. Did she have some kind of fever dream while I was visiting her? Rachel wondered, utterly confused. Well, Rachel said, shrugging. Annabelle says that's what happened. I don't care what you think about me, she continued, her gaze steady. But are you really not going to believe your precious little sister either? By the way, she asked gently, Annabelle, how did you get here? I offered money to anyone who could tell me where you were. Annabelle explained proudly. And your servant brought me here. I see, Rachel assured her. Next time, I'll make you something even more delicious, Annabelle. With just one day left until the bakery's grand opening, Rachel's thoughts buzzed with things to do. I really need to clear out the weeds today, she muttered to herself, surveying the garden. But I also want to test a few more recipes. She was experimenting with letting bread dough rise in the oven's residual heat. Daniel's wheat stock, originally meant for export, had now been milled into various types of flour, which means, lovely, bread flour, cake flour, all-purpose flour. She grinned. I have everything I need, so today, she decided aloud, I'm making buttercup squash muffins. They were a beloved snack, enjoyed by people of all ages if done right. Buttercup squash recipe. Ingredients: buttercup squash, cake flour, butter, eggs, sugar, almond flour, baking powder, etc. First, she boiled the buttercup squash, cutting some into delicate crescent shapes and slicing up the rest. Then she mixed all the ingredients to create the batter, carefully piped it into muffin liners, and topped each with a squash crescent before sliding them into the oven. In the meantime, the bread dough had proofed beautifully. Rachel decided to top it with some leftover squash. I'll tidy up the garden a bit, and then, with the sound of ding, the buttercup squash muffins were done. She gets excited upon hearing the bell. Rachel took a bite, her eyes lighting up. The texture is so soft. This is why I used real buttercup squash instead of some pumpkin powder. She smiled to herself. They'd be amazing with fresh whipped cream. Then a thought struck her as she looked at Teehee's stack of them. By the way, did I bake too many for a test? What do I do? And there's bread in the oven too. Oh, right. She had already decided to donate the leftovers. Guess I should bake even more. I hope the kids will love them. At the Star Vailix foster home, a woman greeted her warmly. Nice to meet you, Rachel. I'm Catherine, the head of the foster home. It's wonderful to have such a good neighbor, Catherine added. Rachel replied. I'm lucky to have such a welcoming one, too. Rachel offered a bashful smile. I guess there's no need to mention my last name, Catherine said. Thank you so much for donating these leftovers. They smell just as warm and inviting as if they are freshly baked. It's just that I had trouble adjusting the quantity on my first day, Rachel admitted. Also, could I ask for a small favor? I'd love to hear honest feedback on these muffins and bread. I'd really appreciate your objective opinions. If that's the case, of course, Catherine agreed. I'll let everyone try it right away. Moments later, the room was filled with delighted voices. Children's mouth drooled looking at the muffins. They began gnoming as soon as they were allowed to. Happy voices arose in the hall. Wow, this is so yummy. I could eat this forever. While eating, one kid said, I want to learn how to make bread too. Another agreed. Me too, Rachel chuckled. The oven gets really hot, so it's dangerous. But once you're a little older, I'll teach you all kinds of tips. Until then, I'll keep baking for you. Just the Miss Catherine stroked her glasses while staring at Rachel. For a second, Rachel thought she saw a blue glint in one of her eyes. Was that just her imagination? Does the bread not suit your taste? She asked Miss Catherine gently. Oh no, not at all, she stammered. The aroma and texture are exquisite. They'd make perfect gifts too, Rachel replied. I see. Thank you for the kind words. While escorting her back, Catherine exclaimed, This is some of the best bread and muffins I've ever had. Catherine said sincerely. Your shop is bound to succeed, Rachel beamed. Since the kids love it, I'll bring some over now and then, even when I sell out. Then she said, I'll see you again soon. Catherine waved her. Take care, Rachel, Catherine thought. It's her first day. Does that mean her bread didn't sell well? Everyone who tasted it gave genuine, glowing reviews. She decided, looks like I need to teach my kind-hearted neighbor the joys of making money. The next day there were more customers at her bakery. Do you have good morning bread? Someone called out from the entrance. Excuse me, can I place a bulk order in advance? Another customer asked eagerly. What time do the bread and muffins come out? Someone else chimed in. Rachel, smiling but clearly overwhelmed, directed them patiently. Good morning, bread is on that display over there. I'll help you with the checkout, she added. We're still setting up the reservation system, but for now, bread is ready in the morning, and muffins are out by lunchtime. As she rang up orders and directed traffic, a single thought echoed in her head. Why is business suddenly booming like this? Still, she kept smiling. Thank you. Have a great day. Today's sales were a huge success, she concluded at the end. So life really is just luck, huh? She thought to herself as the crowd finally began to thin. Maybe when I get some free time, I should turn the second floor into my own little hideout. But first she needed food. Her stomach growled. I'm totally craving mint chocolate cookies today, she said to herself excitedly. But then she paused. Wait, I was planning to bring some to Annabelle too. Her eyes narrowed. What if she's not a mint choco fan? She imagined the worst. Annabelle spitting it out in front of Raymond, who would then shout, How dare you feed her something so disgusting? I knew you were evil, you villainess. I'd better make some chocolate chip cookies too. Rachel sighed. I'll add some nuts for extra flavor. Mint chocolate chip cookies and nut chocolate chip cookies. Ingredients: mint chocolate, chocolate chips, nuts, cake flour, butter, eggs, sugar, baking powder, salt. By the way, mint chocolate wasn't available in stores, she muttered. So I made it myself. She melted white chocolate, then mixed in peppermint oil and a bit of green food coloring. Once piped into small drops and hardened, they were done. Now it was time to prepare the dough. She mixed everything together and split the dough into two batches, one with mint chocolate chips, the other with regular chocolate chips and crunchy nuts. She was careful not to overmix. Too much kneading makes them chewy, she warned herself. Scooping dough onto parchment-lined trays, she added teardrop-shaped mint chips to one set and chopped nuts to the other. Just then, the oven finished preheating. Later, the smell of warm, nutty sweetness filled the kitchen. Done! The aroma is amazing. I hope Annabelle likes them too. Rachel! Annabelle squealed. Did you come to see me? Of course, Rachel said, smiling warmly. I made a promise, didn't I? To bring you delicious pastries and desserts. Guess what I made this time? Take a guess. Let me smell it first, Annabelle said, closing her eyes. Let me take a sniff. Okay, but keep your eyes closed, Rachel teased. Annabelle sniffs. That nutty smell. Did you make cookies for me? Rachel replied. Correct. Go on, try one, Annabelle. Yes, she cried, then picks one with mine chocolate. She tasted it and cheered up. It's really yummy. I'm glad you like mint chocolate, Rachel said, relieved. I'm so happy you made cookies for me. Annabelle beamed, jumping with joy. I like you so much, Rachel. Rachel also smiled. And I really like you too, Annabelle. But then she remembers the scene where the Count was worried for her and instructed her. Annabelle, it was the nuts that made you sick this time, Raymond added. You must never eat nuts again, Annabelle. Okay, Raymond, she whispered, tears dripping from her eyes. I won't eat them again. She looked at the nut cookie and thought, I was so scared I might die. But Rachel made these cookies for me. If I don't eat this, everyone will doubt Rachel's skills. They always say she's useless at everything. She looked down at the cookie in her hand. If I just eat this and say it's delicious, then maybe Rachel will finally get some compliments. Taking a breath, she raised the cookie and took another bite. How is it? Rachel asked gently. She trembled, saying, It's deli. Then coughed. Annabelle? Rachel's voice faltered. Annabelle suddenly collapsed, the half-eaten cookie falling from her hand. Rachel dropped the remaining cookies in shock. She called out, Annabelle, what's wrong? Then servant came there and asked, What's happening? And my lady? A maid shouted in panic as Annabelle was lying on the ground. A knight shouted, Call the doctor right away. Moments later, when the doctor came, he said, We need emergency treatment now. Hurry! Just then the Count also came there. He asked, What is going on? Rachel's voice trembled. The Count asked her, his expression darkening. Rachel, did you feed Annabelle nuts? The Count told. Annabelle has a nut allergy. Rachel fell in despair. I didn't know. It was never mentioned in the original story. But then her heart sank with a chilling thought. Wait, did the real Rachel know? Count Lesseltine and Raymond had both shouted at her. Their anger was nothing new, but this time, they didn't even stay to see how she responded. With looks of disappointment, they turned away from her in silence. That moment made it clear, they had truly, finally, given up on her. Later Daniel Deneuve visited her. She was lost in thought, so Daniel called, "Lady Rachel!" She flinched, so he asked, "Are you all right?" "Ah, yes." She nodded, brushing it off, but her thoughts were elsewhere. Daniel asked, "By any chance, does the item you brought me have anything to do with the fact that you temporarily closed your shop at such an important time?" "At first, I assumed it had to do with the suspicious people lurking near your bakery," he admitted. "They were probably sent by my brother," she said grimly. "I'll explain later." "I see. The number of those people has decreased," he added, "but I'll keep guards stationed nearby. We can't risk the warehouse being discovered." "Decreased?" Rachel frowned. "They must think I'm about to shut down the bakery." She shook the thought away and changed the subject. "By the way, would you like a Madeleine? I grabbed a few leftovers since you dropped by unexpectedly. It's one of my specialties." "I don't eat anything that hasn't been properly vetted," he replied curtly. "All right," she said with a shrug. "Then I'll eat them myself." As she ate it, he observed, then began eating. "Well, now that I've seen you eat one, I suppose I can try." He bit into it, and his eyes widened. It's delicious," she smiled. "Starting tomorrow, I'll be making condensed milk and matcha madeleines too. Are you curious about the recipe?" He was stunned for a moment, then said, "If I am, would you tell me?" "For a price," she teased. "If business goes well," she continued more seriously, "I'm thinking of expanding the bakery." "I heard you had no talent for business," he said, eyeing her. "But that doesn't seem to be the case. Anyway," he cleared his throat, "let's move on to business. Lately, your bakery's products have been popping up everywhere," he said. "From what I've heard, even the noble ladies are talking about them." Rachel repeated, "Noble ladies," he replied. "Yes. Especially the Dowager Duchess Hessen herself. She's been singing their praises." He asked, "Do you have any personal connection to her?" She replied, "I don't believe so." In her mind she said, "If I could meet her, I would have done it already. Her son is the ultimate pastry enthusiast and a potential VIP customer. That only makes it more suspicious," he murmured. "It would be wise to keep a low profile for now. The Duke's family might be keeping an eye on us." "Well then," he said briskly, "let's discuss chain store royalties." After discussing a few details, Rachel said, "Agreed. Let's monitor sales for a while before finalizing the details." Daniel shows thumbs up. "I'll make sure your chain stores receive full support as well." This is going to work, he thought to himself, excitement bubbling inside her. Rachel said, "I always prioritize the best possible deal, you know." "Are you heading straight back to the guild?" she asked. While leaving, he was looking gaunt but said, "Yes, I'll be handling guild matters until dawn." "Wait a second, Daniel." She reached behind the counter and handed him a small package. "Take this with you and eat. Work is important, but so is your health. Don't skip your meals." His cheeks turned red. While hiding his face, he said, "Thank you, Rachel." He paused, then smiled faintly. "I'll consider this Madeleine as payment for the item you requested. The herbs, you'll have them before sunrise," he'd promised. Later that night, Rachel examined the small pouch Daniel had delivered. She thought this had better work like it did in the original story. She ground the dried herbs carefully, then wrinkled her nose. "Ugh, it smells awful. There's no way you can just eat it as is." Still, she was already forming a plan. "Well, I was planning to develop a new menu anyway. So, let's pair it with some fresh bread." Blueberry bread. Ingredients: standard bread dough, blueberries. The preparation method was the same as regular bread. She sifted the flour, kneaded the dough, then carefully washed the fresh blueberries and laid them out to dry. Once ready, she folded the fruit into the dough and popped it into the oven. Done! Now, she thought urgently, I need to get to the mansion. If I waste any more time, Annabelle. "You!" Raymond growled the moment she stepped through the doors. "You have the nerve to walk in here after what you did?" "Move, Raymond," Rachel said firmly, holding the basket tight. "I have something to feed Annabelle." "You've completely lost your mind." "Done!" Rachel snapped, eyes wide with disbelief. "Are you trying to kill Annabelle for real this time?" "No!" she shot back. "I brought medicine, something that can quickly suppress her allergic reaction." He slapped her and asked, "How am I supposed to believe that?" "Just trust me this once," she pleaded. "I'm your sister too, you know. I would never hurt Annabelle," he declared, cutting her off. "I have never, not even once, considered you my sister." Her hands trembled. She clenched her fists, fury bubbling to the surface. "Get out!" Raymond continued yelling. "Don't ever set foot in this mansion again. I don't even want to see your—" Just then Rachel smacked his face with the basket she was holding. Raymond whirled around and plopped to the ground. Raymond was unable to speak in shock. So what? Rachel snapped, deflecting her own emotions. If you want to leave Annabelle to suffer forever, then go ahead. Poor little sister, stuck with an awful sister and an awful brother. Murmurs began between servants. What? Raymond's face twisted in outrage. Without you, Annabelle would have been so much happier, she shouted. That's ridiculous. Then why do you think she came looking for me? Their argument was interrupted by a sudden voice. What's all this commotion? The Count entered. Rachel. His voice was firm. What are you trying to feed Annabelle? A few moments later the doctor examined the medicine. This is definitely a rare herb, and the combination of ingredients is unexpected. Snailweed, spiked mushroom root, fairy snot? The doctor said aloud, baffled. How did you even come up with this? Rachel exhaled. One of my talkative pharmacist customers mentioned it to me once. In return, I gave them plenty of extra bread. She lowered her voice. In fact, this was the medicine Daniel desperately crafted in the original story for the protagonist, Euphemia. Father! Raymond stepped forward, pointing a finger at her. Rachel is trying to feed Annabelle some unverified medicine that even the doctor doesn't know about. I absolutely won't allow this. Murmurs rippled through the room. How can we trust Lady Rachel? What if she's lying on purpose? Didn't she already try to kill Lady Annabelle? Rachel clenches her arm thinking, no, I want to say it's not true, but who here would even believe me? Their father stepped forward, his voice low and grave. This will be your last chance. Rachel stiffened. Pardon? The Count said. If the medicine doesn't work as you claim, then you are no longer my daughter. And today will be the last day you ever set foot in this estate, he continued. A family should have at least a minimal amount of trust in each other. However, you did put Annabelle in danger. This means we cannot fully trust you, so you will have to prove yourself. Do you understand, Rachel? She agreed. I understand. They administrated the medicine, and when Annabelle opens her eyes, they fed her the bread. Amid the tangled mess of emotions, a long and exhausting day finally came to an end. Later, hushed murmurs filled the halls. Did you hear that? Lady Rachel, she healed Lady Annabelle. Rachel! Annabelle cried as she threw her arms around her. Are you that happy you're feeling better? Rachel asked, surprised. Yeah, but... Annabelle grinned. I'm even happier that you came to see me, actually, she said a little concerned. Raymond told me never to eat things like peanuts or walnuts. She drooped. I'm sorry, Rachel. I tried to hold back, but I couldn't. Don't worry about it. Rachel reassured her gently. In the end, things turned out fine. Even I wouldn't be able to endure pain like that. But why did you try to do that, Annabelle? Rachel asked, softly patting her head. Because... Annabelle's voice wavered. If I had eaten it without complaining, then people wouldn't have said bad things about you. Then Matilda brought the bread serving. Aha! Annabelle gasped. It's the blueberry bread you brought. Even with just one bite, it was so good. Well, of course, Matilda chimed in. It's Lady Rachel's baking, honestly, the maid added. I've never understood why those malicious rumors about you spread. The way people kept making up stories. As she said that, she gasped and quickly left. Anyway, I'll take my leave now. Rachel gets suspicious. Now that Annabelle has recovered, it's time to dig deeper. The faint sound of Annabelle munching on her bread followed behind her. I think this isn't simply about bad rumors, Rachel thought. Something else is going on. Later at the Duke's manor, his attendant informed. For dessert, we have yuzu pound cake and raspberry cake, Your Grace. I'll pass on the dessert, came the curt reply. Just bring the tea for me, the attendant said. Yes, Your Grace. Across the table, a guest smiled brightly. How delightful! They say you must try the desserts whenever you visit the Duke's mansion, after all, the Duke added. The head maid has good taste, the guest continued. And surely, that reflects your refined taste as well, Your Grace. The nobleman gave a faint nod. I'm truly honored that you've chosen to invest in my accessories venture, the guest continued eagerly. If entrusted to me, I'll give it my utmost. Just then a servant served them the cakes. Oh my! He gasped, eyes lighting up. This looks absolutely delicious. He eagerly took a bite, then paused. This is the raspberry jam layered between the sponge. It's exquisite. If this were sold commercially, I'd definitely buy it. He turned his attention to the other plate. And look at this yuzu pound cake. The fragrance and texture are perfectly balanced. Another bite. I don't normally enjoy cakes, but this is. Suddenly, the Duke grits his teeth and stood up. He said, a pressing matter just came to mind. This conversation will have to end here. Count Dutchin, the guest said. Huh! But we haven't finished discussing the partnership, then the guest said quickly, sensing the change in mood. We can continue our conversation another time, Your Grace. As the nobleman left the place, the Duke looks at the cake and quickly snatches the cake away. In his study, the Duke ate the cake. His thoughts lingered behind. The flavor is excellent, but somehow, it's not satisfying. He pulls out the poster, Rachel Bakery. The name drifted through his mind. Thanks to my mother, I now have an excuse to go there. But, I've heard it suddenly closed just days after opening. What on earth happened to the bakery owner? And my lady? A nervous voice echoed in the corridor. You can interrogate me all you want, Matilda said, fidgeting. But I don't know anything about the pond incident. As I told you before, technically, I'm on young Master Raymond's side. So even if I knew something, I can't exactly tell you. Matilda continued, feigning innocence. I only heard rumors floating around the estate. Rachel bribed her with an ornament. Matilda quickly changed. And also, maybe help spread them a little. Well, I am the most well-connected person in this mansion, so... Matilda added with a nervous chuckle. But really, I don't know anything, she twitched. I mean, I have no idea who strengthened the rumor or where it really started. Rachel shows her more gems. Matilda looks at them, then gave in. Except I did hear it was Maid Joe and who made the whole thing sound credible. Rachel admitted. I really do admire how honest you are when money's involved, Matilda, she said. Oh, come on, my lady. Anyway, Matilda continued. Joanne gave the key testimony about the incident. It was the day Lady Annabelle and young Master Raymond went for a walk. Supposedly, after she slipped away from him to watch the fish by the pond, you suddenly appeared and, she hesitated, pushed her straight into the water. That's what she claimed. Rachel's eyes narrowed. Matilda added, and even with the mansion staff divided on the matter, Joanne has been allowed to keep her own private room for witness protection. Is that so? Rachel murmured. Matilda said. But the truth is, my lady, at a quiet corner of the estate, Rachel approached. Maid Joanne. The woman bowed stiffly. My lady, what brings you to such a humble corner of the estate? Rachel replied. Nothing major. I just have a few questions about the pond incident. Matilda was behind Rachel, she said. How much did you get paid, huh? Joanne stiffened and said. What nonsense are you saying in front of the lady? You're the one talking nonsense, Rachel said coldly, eyes locked on Joanne. I know everything about the false testimony you gave. And what proof do you have to say that, my lady? Joanne sneered. I saw it with my own eyes. Her words landed like a slap. How could you try to discredit a witness like this? Joanne added. Do you know how disappointed the other masters would be to see you stoop this low? Rachel's voice caught. She thinks in her mind. I may be adopted, but I'm still technically her employer. And she's this brazen about tearing me down? Then Matilda said with a low voice. It's not slander if it's true. You weren't even near the pond that day. You were in the inner courtyard, far away from the pond. What? Joanne gasped. Did you seriously think you saw me there? Not me, Matilda said. But the head maid needed an extra pair of hands that day to help carry a few things. A guest had come to meet the Count for business, and the maid saw you in the courtyard with that guest. Her eyes narrowed. If it were just a servant, maybe you could cover it up. But a guest of the Count? Lady Rachel would have no way of manipulating that testimony, Matilda continued. That maid thought she was just mistaken. But if we ask the Count, I'm sure he can summon the guest again to confirm it. Upon hearing that, the Joanne trembled. You heard her, Rachel said, her tone final. I'll give you one chance not to be kicked out of this mansion, Joanne. Then she asked, voice firm. Who told you to lie? Did you hear that? Someone whispered sharply. Lady Rachel. She's not really the late Countess's daughter. Unbelievable. Another voice replied. Why would Madame keep that secret until the moment of her death? Who knows? And besides, why do we even have to call that girl my lady? She's just a commoner like us. Exactly. What if that commoner ends up hurting Lady Annabelle? Maybe that's why Madame revealed the truth before she passed, to protect Lady Annabelle. I heard Marchioness Sealed was by Madame's side at the end, one murmured. Perhaps she wanted her closest friend to keep Rachel in check, so a mere commoner wouldn't dare lay a hand on Lady Annabelle. The head butler's thought raced. That's right. A commoner, someone no different from us, is living in the Lesseltine estate? Unacceptable. The luxury, the entitlement, this entire charade. We won't stand for it, he demanded as Rachel approached him for correction. You're saying there's something that needs to be corrected in the report? What kind of ridiculous rumors have you been listening to? Rachel replied. Are you saying there's nothing that needs correcting? Should we ask Joanne then? Just then maid Joanne came appeared. Rachel added, maybe she can tell us if there's anything worth revising, like whether she's been making secret deals behind the scenes. Joanne admitted. The testimony I gave about Lady Rachel, it was all false. She bowed to Rachel and said, I wasn't even near the pond that day. I'm sorry, my lady, Rachel replied. Thank you for finally telling the truth. Then asked, so, who told you to lie? Just then the head butler shouted. Lady Rachel, she shot back. What? Does it bother you that I'm adopted? Rachel's voice rang out, raw with emotion. Don't act like I don't know. I know you can't stand that someone like me, born who knows where, was accepted into House Lesseltine. And that makes me a thorn in your side, doesn't it? Her voice shook. I've heard more than once all the things you say behind my back. Yes, more than once. Just then someone knocks the door. Rachel thought. He's here. Rachel took a breath, then turns. Until now, I thought it wasn't worth reacting to. After all, it's true I am adopted. Raymond was standing at the door. Rachel continued. But when lies turn into real damage, that's where I draw the line, Raymond said skeptically. Isn't it possible that you just bribed that maid? Rachel's voice cracked. What? You seriously think I would? She didn't, Raymond! Annabelle interrupted, her voice clear. She defended Rachel and said, Rachel saved me when I slipped. There's no culprit in any of this. Rachel gets surprised. Annabelle continued. I've been telling you that over and over again. But why won't anyone believe me? She remembers her brother saying, You're a sweet girl, but you shouldn't be kind to someone who does this to you. Not you, Raymond. Annabelle cut in. Not Chin, not anyone. This isn't about covering up what Rachel did. I'm just telling you what actually happened. Upon hearing that, Rachel thought, maybe, even in the original story, Annabelle liked Rachel at first. But being surrounded by lies, by people whispering in her ear, she eventually believed them. She started to think I really was the villainess. Rachel smiled, her voice softened. Thank you for believing me, Annabelle. Later in the Count's office, the Count took a breath and asked, where is the head butler now? His attendant bowed. His involvement hasn't been fully confirmed yet, so we've placed him in temporary confinement, the Count said. I see. A response has arrived, his attendant said. They claim they saw a maid, likely Joanne, somewhere other than the pond. Upon hearing that, the Count said, Rachel was falsely accused. I can't believe something like this would happen within my own household. My lord, if I may, the servant interjected. If this incident spreads beyond the estate, the family's reputation could suffer greatly. If we punish the head butler appropriately, the truth behind Lady Rachel's false accusation will clear itself with time. Then the Count recalled his interaction with the doctor. At night, the doctor was carrying a tray with cakes. Greetings, my lord. A bow followed. The Count asked the doctor. Yes. What's that you're carrying out of Annabelle's room? He replied. Oh, it was brought in by Lady Rachel. I was going to dispose of it, just in case. Rachel brought that? The lord asked, brows furrowed. Give it here. I'll take care of it myself. The Count went to Annabelle's chamber with the tray. He peeked in and saw Rachel sitting beside Annabelle's bed. Rachel murmured, Wake up soon, Annabelle. When you do, I'll bake you all the delicious bread you want. The Count ate the cake he was holding. This is good, he continued after a pause. Reopen the investigation. Annabelle may call it an accident, but there could be a true culprit behind it, his attendant asked. Pardon? The Count said firmly. I'll personally deal with the head butler. And this incident, make sure it's made known beyond this house. After a few days, Rachel opens her bakery again. She processed an order. 2 loaves of good morning bread, right? The customer replied. Yes, she said, smiling. That'll be 6,000 kroso. Thank you very much. Please come again. The cheerful farewell was followed by complete silence, closing right after opening. Yeah, that definitely hurt business. It wasn't that no one was coming in, but still things weren't steady. I need to prepare more thoroughly, she thought, her eyes narrowing with determination. For my future VVIP guest, Duke Hessen, she decided. First, let's make some muffins. I'll decorate them like fancy cupcakes, with his favorite ingredient, strawberries. Just as she set to work, bell jingled. The door creaked open and someone enters the shop. She turns to the person saying, Sorry, we're closed for the day. She caught herself mid-sentence. She looked at the person and said, I mean, we're still open. Welcome, sir, Duke Karhan Hessen, the Empire's strongest knight, guarding the northern border against monsters and foreign threats. And yet, even he had been facing a serious problem lately. Few hours ago at Duke's Manor. What do you mean you can't accept it? Someone asked, stunned. Doesn't the Duke usually accept gifts only if they're food? Of course, the butler replied politely. We're deeply grateful for your thoughtfulness. However, my master unfortunately has little interest in desserts. I was told by the former head butler that he only accepted food gifts out of politeness. I truly apologize. I only wish to serve my lord to the best of my ability. Oh, no need to apologize, the guest said warmly. The Duke is lucky to have such a loyal butler. The butler flushed slightly. I'm flattered. Meanwhile, the Duke was watching from his window. His disheveled voice cried out. And no! My emergency supply, my emergency sugar rations, they're gone. He stumbled through the doorway. Perhaps I've gone this long without a single sugar fix. My legs just carried me here on their own. Thank goodness the bakery's open. I'm sorry, Rachel said kindly. We're just in the middle of tidying up, but please feel free to look around. His eyes sparkled as they landed on a loaf. This is cream cheese and blueberry bread? This bakery clearly knows its flavor profiles. Oh, I have a sample batch you could try if you'd like, Rachel offered. We don't have seating yet, so you'd have to taste it here at the counter. The Duke nods. That'll do, she said, of course, just a moment. Saying that, she went to pick the sample. She quickly handed him a tray. Here you are. A strawberry cream muffin topped with strawberry-flavored whipped cream and fresh strawberries. His heart raced as he looks at the muffin. A perfectly golden muffin, crowned with sweet strawberry cream and elegantly finished with fresh strawberries. He reaches out thinking, there's no way this could taste bad. He took a bite. The softness of the bread, the chewiness inside, his expression froze in bliss. This is heavenly. Like the food of the gods. He flinched as he ate, so Rachel called out, Sir? He clears his throat and said, I'll take some. Rachel asked, How many would you like to order? We take large orders anytime and offer extra services for bulk purchases, the Duke repeated. Services? She thought. Just a bulk order would help me restock desserts more easily. And there's bonus food involved too. We also have a membership tier system, she added, smiling. Our VIPs receive special gifts and special desserts that change every time, the Duke quickly said. I'll place a bulk order. Give me the most expensive item you've got, she said. Then I'll prepare 20 boxes, 5 macarons each, the Duke asked. Macarons? What's that? She replied. Oh, well, they look kind of like dakois, but they're actually a type of cookie. A crisp meringue shell on the top and bottom, with a soft filling in between. Few hours later, the Duke was eating it in his office. While eating, he thought, the name alone sounds delicious, but now her explanation has really piqued my curiosity. What kind of dessert could a macaron be? Meanwhile, in the Grand Mansion kitchen, the maid chefs were talking to each other looking at macaron. One asked, Are these actually from the famous Rachel Bakery? Others said, They look cute, I guess. Don't let the looks fool you, one warned. They were made by a woman called the reincarnation of the witch Margarita. What if they're poisoned or something? First one said. No way. The Duke himself picked them out. Everyone else was saying how good they were too, as the top 3 assistant chefs in this mansion, one declared. It's up to us to judge properly. Let's try and critique them mercilessly, they agreed. Fine, I'll be absolutely brutal, the third one said. All right. I'll try this one. As they ate them, they were mesmerized by the taste. One exclaimed, I can't believe this. This perfectly balanced sweetness. Crispy, chewy, and soft, all in one bite. And the presentation? Adorable. This dessert is phenomenal. Meanwhile, at the Duke's mansion, the Duchess was looking outside the window, concerned about something. Her attendant came and asked, You seem troubled, madam, the Duchess asked. Was it that obvious? The attendant replied, You don't sigh often, madam. It's hard not to notice. The Duchess laughed it off. It's nothing serious. No need to worry. A moment passed, then she shifted topics. Owen, there's something I'm curious about. You said these macarons were from Rachel Bakery, right? I overheard one of the servants say something odd. Then she added, The owner, Rachel, is actually Rachel Lesseltine, the one people used to call the disgrace of House Lesseltine. Is that true? I was curious myself, Owen admitted. So I looked into it, and it turned out to be true. She's the very same Rachel Lesseltine, known for her bad reputation not only among nobles but even among commoners. I see. The lady's voice was calm, thoughtful. Thank you, Owen. You've been good company. You may go rest now. Owen bowed. Yes, madam. Then left. Alone now, she let her thoughts wander. As both the former duchess and the current head of the foster home, I've always spoken highly of this bakery. But to think it's run by someone accused of such cruelty, she frowned. And yet, the Rachel I saw was nothing like the disgraced people claim she is. She wonders which is right? Her gaze dropped to the macaron. She picks one and ate it. Is this roasted soybean powder? I'm thinking of making a version with soybean powder next, came Rachel's voice from a memory, cheerful and confident. It's a flavor everyone can enjoy, young and old. As I thought, the lady decided this matter deserves a closer look. Meanwhile at Rachel Bakery. Leave it to me, my lady. Matilda beamed. I'll work hard to make every crosser you pay me worth it. Yeah. Rachel waved a hand. The baking's all done, so just handle the packaging and check out properly, okay? Matilda replied. Yes, my lady. Have a safe trip. Rachel stepped outside with a bounce in her step. Why am I in such a good mood today? She mused. Oh, right. It's all thanks to Duke Hessen. His bulk order filled my wallet very nicely. Her thoughts were cut short as she arrived at the Merchant Guild. Welcome, Lady Rachel Lesseltine. A familiar voice greeted her. As I mentioned, I've summoned you with good news. Since Robert couldn't be bothered to show up, I'll be speaking in his place today. Rachel blinked then thought. Today he's Daniel, huh? Living a double life must be exhausting. She eyed him coolly. While walking away, Daniel said, By the way, that carriage you arrived in looks quite modest. Is House Lesseltine holding a funeral for its luxury carriages? Rachel replied. I came straight from work, thank you very much. And for your information, I rented the nicest one at the shop. When he's Daniel, he's the total opposite of stiff, serious Robert, Rachel thought. He's even friendly, almost to the point of being sleazy. If I hadn't read the original story, I never would have guessed they were the same person. While in his office as he was pouring her tea, she thinks, on the first day we met, he wouldn't even serve me tea. And now I'm one of his key business partners. She looked up at him and smiled. So what's so exciting you had to summon me to your merchant guild? She asked. There's something I think you'll be quite pleased with. He leaned forward. As you predicted, high-purity diamonds have been discovered in the mine. Daniel continued. Of course, to sell gemstones at high prices, fine craftsmanship is essential. Rachel asked. Are you planning to commission House Dutchen? He replied. No, I'm still considering my options, she asked again. But they're known for having the best craftsmanship. The thing is, Daniel's tone darkened. Duke Hessen's involvement is giving me pause. I have reason to believe we're being watched. Word is, Duke Hessen has taken a sudden interest in Count Dutchen's business lately. Nothing concrete yet, but... He lowered his voice. I also received word from our warehouse guards that Duke Hessen visited your bakery after hours. There's a good chance he's already on to something, she said. Possibly, but inwardly she thought. Though he's just a dessert fanatic. Sorry for letting the misunderstanding spread, Your Grace, but I wasn't planning to work with Dutchen anyway, so this works out as I intended. Because I know he's a con man with a rotten heart, she recalled. It's a shame that the original novel didn't specify who the heroine eventually liked instead. That would have been a great help. Well, Rachel resolved, I'll just focus on what I can do right now, she said. Fine, find another jeweler. If the Duke gets suspicious, we'll just deny everything. He smiled. I knew you'd say that. Just in case, take this. He handed her a card. It's a backup business card. I recommend halting mining for now. Okay. Rachel nodded. Instead, let's push forward the opening of the second branch. Once the diamonds are mined, I'll pay you in full. For now, find me a good location in the Denave territory. You're trying to consume the flour as fast as possible, huh? He teased. Luckily, we have a vacant building in the territory. You can use it rent-free for now, she replied. It's not like I can use it for free forever, right? Let's set a monthly rent in advance for when the flour runs out. He laughed. Haha, you still don't trust me enough for a verbal agreement, I see, she said. Trust like that has to be earned. No exceptions, he agreed. Fair enough. Let's sign the contract. Meanwhile, at her bakery, Matilda was sweeping the place humming. I love a boss who pays me on time. The day she misses payroll, I'm out of here though. But until then, you'll get your money's worth from me. Just then, a familiar voice called out. Matilda beamed. Oh, it's been a while, Irene. The girl blinked in disbelief. Matilda, are you seriously working at that Villainess's bakery? A few days ago Irene was talking to her colleagues. One of them asked, Matilda? You mean the girl who completely loses her mind over money? You're still in touch with her? The other frowned, arms crossed. I never liked how obsessed she was with cash. I understand, Irene replied with a smile. But have you ever seen how endearing she looks when she mumbles about money, her cheeks puffed up like a chipmunk? A few months ago before that, Irene met Matilda. Matilda had said it casually. Irene, starting tomorrow, I'll be working for Lady Rachel. Irene gets shocked. What? That Villainess? Yes. Matilda nodded unfazed. I volunteered, Irene questioned. But why? Isn't she the one with the worst reputation in the whole estate? That's right, she admitted. But being a personal maid means serious money. After that, life got in the way. They both got busy, barely kept in touch. But now, Irene wondered, could it be? She imagined Rachel as a villainess with her evil plan. Rachel ordered Matilda in her vision, I need to make a fortune. Come up with a plan that pulls in massive money. My lady, that could hurt a lot of people, Matilda warned her cautiously. Rachel throws a bag of coins to her. Do it right, and you'll be richer than you ever dreamed. Seeing that, Matilda agreed. You can count on me, my lady. I'll deliver the world to your feet. So she imagined both of them proceeding with their evil plan. Back to present, Irene gasped. Matilda, I knew you were always obsessed with money, but now you've really gone too far. Get a grip, Irene. Matilda scoffed. I've been doing just fine, Irene asked. Really? Of course. Honestly. Matilda softened slightly. I think I've started seeing my lady in a whole new light. Just then another customer came by. Welcome to Rachel Bakery, Matilda added brightly. Then she said to Irene, let's head inside. We can talk there. Yeah, sure, Irene agreed. Irene hesitated, glancing towards the customer that came now. Huh? Why does that lady feel so familiar? She shook her head. It's probably just my imagination. While the customer browsed through the shop, Irene and Matilda talked to each other. Irene asked, so what you're saying is, your lady isn't actually a bad person? Don't even get me started, Matilda said, exasperated. Turns out the head butler caused a huge mess recently. He's been bribing maids like us to frame her for all sorts of things. The customer that came twitches as she heard that. Matilda continued, he couldn't stand the idea of a mere commoner and adopted daughter being part of the noble house he served for generations. Are you sure the head butler really planned all that? Irene asked, skeptical. I just can't imagine anyone going that far, Matilda replied. Well, everyone else just let it happen. Especially the young master of the house. He absolutely hates my lady. Irene asked. Then what about those rumors? They said she kicked out maids she didn't like, in the middle of winter, with nowhere to go. And made one sleep in the stables, covered in horse dung, Matilda began. Well, that's... Just then another customer came, and so Matilda stopped and greeted him. Welcome to Rachel Bakery. Irene turns to the customer and gets flustered. Matilda asked, what's wrong, Irene? She replied thoughtfully. It's just those two customers. They looked oddly familiar, Matilda insisted. Come on. The two customers that came were the Duke Carhan Hessen and his mother the Duchess. As the Duke bumps into Duchess, he said, my apologies. The Duchess turns to him. That's fine. As she saw that it was her own son, she blurted out. Wait, Ka? The Duke also gets shocked to see her mother. Both of them flinched. Matilda was watching that, so she gets suspicious. She thought, eyes widened. This is extremely suspicious. Don't tell me, was that some kind of secret signal for a shady deal? Matilda gave her instructions quickly. Matilda remembered Rachel's instructions. If anyone shady or dangerous comes into the shop, use the back door. There's a storage shed past the backyard. Call the guard station nearby. But don't go inside. So she said to Irene, hands clasped. Irene, can you handle the counter for a bit? Just do some wrapping, Matilda said, already moving. I'll be right back. Irene called for her. Matilda? Matilda. She was gone. She must have really needed to go to the bathroom, Irene rationalized, nodding to herself. Digestive health is important. Maybe I can just follow the one she was making, she thought, eyeing the packages. But what if the suspicious customers speak to me? Just then, with the sound of jingle, Rachel came in. Oh no, another suspicious one? Irene braced herself, only to relax slightly. Phew, it's just someone who looks adorable, like a bunny, she greeted her. Welcome to Rachel Bakery. She was a natural for serving customers. Rachel exclaimed, Your package is flawless. Thank you, Irene stammered. Is there something you're looking for? Rachel smiled. No. Then she went up the stairs. Wait, Irene wondered, are customers even allowed up there? Then Matilda came in bakery with the guards. She pointed towards the Duke in cloak and said, Over there. Those two were acting totally suspicious. They might be here to hurt my lady. Upon hearing that, the Duke quickly left running. Hey! Matilda called out. Why is he running? He must be hiding something. Hey! Stop right there! While the Duchess whispered to one of the guard. Sir, it's me. The head of the foster home, remember? I'm in disguise for a very good reason. So please, just keep quiet, okay? Irene stood there, stunned, confused. What on earth is going on in this bakery? Matilda followed the Duke outside. He was nowhere to be seen. She looked around and grumbled to herself. Where did that shady guy disappear to? If I ever see him again on the street, he's getting a piece of my mind. When she came back, she saw Irene, who was busy folding the boxes. Irene! Matilda called as she returned. You've already folded that many boxes? Yeah, Irene replied. Matilda looked impressed. Maybe I should just leave the whole shop to you and go take a nap or? Irene asked. What? So Matilda quickly backtracked. And nothing. I just said you're doing great. Few moments later, shifting her tone, Irene continued. About what we were talking about earlier. Are you saying all those rumors about your lady were fake? I've been wondering about that myself, honestly, Matilda admitted. Even among the maids who claimed to have seen things firsthand, their stories never quite matched. And when I think about it, even before she opened the bakery, I never actually saw her do anything inappropriate in front of me. She was prickly though. So when people said she pushed Lady Annabelle, I thought, finally. But now we know that was all false. So, in short, your lady didn't actually commit all those awful acts? Irene asked, her voice quiet. She's just been suffering under maliciously exaggerated rumors, Matilda said, nodding firmly. Exactly. I believed everything young Master Raymond and Chen said and thought she was this monstrous villainess, then added sheepishly. But in truth, she's incredibly generous, and well, she pays me really well. Rachel was listening to all of this sitting at stairs. She laughed. Ha ha! After all, nothing wins over Matilda like money. Then her eyes shifted. Wait, that customer over there, isn't that Catherine? I'd like to pay, please, Catherine said, approaching the counter. Of course. I'll ring you up right away, Matilda said politely. Catherine added. Also, I'd like to place a large order. Actually, I'll buy everything you have in the shop right now. Could you have it delivered to the Starvillou foster home down the street? Irene and Matilda stood stunned. Then Matilda quickly said, Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll have everything ready right away. As she hurried to pack the delivery, Irene commented to Catherine, You must really love this bakery's goods. You could say that, Catherine replied, a soft smile on her lips. I happen to know the owner fairly well. Did you sell blueberry bread yesterday? She asked suddenly. Matilda replied, No, we were too busy filling macaron orders, so no blueberry bread yesterday. I thought so, Catherine said. But Rachel donated a batch of freshly baked blueberry bread to our foster home yesterday. Wait, does that mean? Irene's voice trailed off. She baked a new batch just to donate? Exactly, Catherine confirmed. Rachel doesn't donate leftovers. She always bakes fresh, just for the kids. She's truly a kind soul. Sorry for eavesdropping earlier, she apologized. Irene replied. No, it's totally fine. Matilda prepared everything and puts them on cart. She then happily said, Delivery prepared and ready. Thank you, cheeky little lady, Catherine said with a laugh. Irene watched her go, a thoughtful expression on her face. So she is a good person. Just then, Rachel stepped up, but Matilda had to turn them away. Sorry, ma'am. We just sold out of everything. Oh, no worries. Rachel smiled. You're Irene, right? I'm Rachel, the owner of this bakery. Irene gasped. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I didn't recognize you. It's such an honor. Rachel chuckled. I'm really not that amazing, you know. Actually, look at this. I admire your handiwork. May I ask, what do you do? I work at Duke Hessen's mansion, Irene replied, still flustered. As a kitchen assistant, alongside a couple of other girls. I see. Well, Irene, would you consider working at Rachel Bakery? Rachel asked gently. I'm looking to hire someone just like you. Monthly pay is 6 million kroso, plus bonuses, overtime, and severance. Me? Iron stammered. But first, Rachel continued warmly, let me pay you properly for your help today. She gently took Iron's hand in hers. I hope you'll seriously consider my offer. Then, with a graceful nod, she excused herself. Iron stood frozen. Lady Rachel, she's so cool. Outside, Rachel looked for the Duke. Gasping, she thought, I've lost count of how many times I've circled the block. Where is my future VVIP customer? She said aloud. Did he already go back to his mansion? She sighed, deflated. He's probably not coming back to the shop, is he? A ribbon fell from her ear. Just then, someone approached. She turns to him and he handed her the ribbon. You dropped this. Rachel Lesseltine. She gets stunned for a moment, then said, Thank you, gold tier customer. I'll be sure to give you a lot of services next time. Then she froze. Wait, I'm not supposed to recognize him right now. I'm pretending not to know who this robed customer really is. She quickly retracted. What I meant was, the Duke cut in, as I suspected. We both knew who the other was. That came as a surprise for her. He knew I was Rachel. But how? I barely attend any social gatherings, and I'm almost certain he's never seen my face before. He must have overheard Matilda and Iron earlier. Not that I was seriously trying to hide anyway. She exclaimed, We've never met before. How did you recognize me? Well, regardless, you're right. I am the owner. She concluded, Okay, let's act really surprised. He's a potential VVIP customer. After all, a little customer service charm wouldn't hurt either. Then she asked, By the way, did you enjoy the macarons you ordered? She gave him a pleasant smile. I took extra care packing your box, you know, he replied. The strawberry ones. They were satisfying. Which strawberry ones? She asked, feigning confusion. If I remember correctly, your box was like 80% strawberry. You knew I liked strawberries? He asked, eyes narrowing slightly. Well, she said with a light laugh, it was hard not to notice your eyes lingering on the strawberry display the entire time. I see, he said. They were very good, very sweet. She thought, Karhan really isn't very expressive, is he? He can taste desserts like a connoisseur, but he barely says anything. She remembers, in the original story, he was always overshadowed by sweet, charming Daniel and the bad boy Crown Prince. He was the least popular of the three. But honestly, while the others flaunted wealth and power, Karhan was the only one who fought for the heroine with genuine sincerity. Plus, he's a total dessert lover. Karhan's actually a pretty great guy, you know? Later, my lady, Matilda chimed in, breaking her train of thought. Are you planning to make your spring ball dress yourself this year? What are you talking about? Rachel asked. Matilda replied. Well, I just thought maybe that was for the ball, since you're working on something right now. I'm just practicing, she replied. I'll probably just get mine from Sabril again, like last time. You're not going with boutique elegance? Matilda asked. Their designs have been really popular lately. I doubt I'll ever be welcome at Elegance again. Rachel said, guilt on her face. Matilda recalled. Oh, is it because of that incident? She remembered it clearly. She had said, Matilda, have the dress taken away. The boutique owner asked, flustered. What? But last time, you said you loved this design. Well, now I don't, she'd replied. It's not my taste anymore. Clenching his fist, Jack had grumbled. I suppose it's true what they say. Commoners have no sense of taste. Upon hearing that, Rachel lunges towards him, pushing him. Seeing that, Matilda said, Well, I guess I'm off to dispose of this dress. Then she'd paused. Those frills and jewels, they look really expensive, right? Her eyes beamed at the jewels. While Jack was returning, he thought, I let that one slip. I need to apologize and smooth this over somehow. But then he saw it, his designer dress torn apart, while Matilda was carrying it away. She pulls out all the jewels from it. Looking the dress in shabby situation, Jack's eyes couldn't believe. Is that my design? Hey you, he called out. Who told you to do that? Matilda replied. Oh, Lady Rachel told me to dispose of it, Jack grumbled. I won't forgive you, Rachel Lesseltine. And that's how it went down. Rachel laughed. Ha ha ha, all right. Then she realized, wait, wasn't it Matilda who lit that fire in the first place? But she decided, well, it's too late now. What's done is done. As she remembers, Jack was supposed to catch the Empress's eye at this spring ball, wasn't he? After that, He rises and gets noticed by the heroine, and with the protagonist's benefit, reclaims his place as the #1 boutique. He also gets revenge on me later, so I was planning to get ahead of that. A thought crossed her mind. Rachel said aloud, "Wait. What if I get noticed by the Empress as well? That'd be amazing publicity." Matilda suggested, "In that case, why not use the ball's theme to your advantage? This year's spring ball is extra special. It's the 500th anniversary of the Empire's founding. I heard the Empress is putting in a lot of effort this time. Unlike previous balls, which were mostly attended by young nobles, many older aristocrats will be joining this time as well. And Count Lesseltine is planning to attend, too." Right. Rachel mused aloud, then questioned, "But seriously, how do you even know all this stuff? Doesn't everyone just pick it up around?" Matilda shrugged. Rachel thinks in her mind, "I've thought this before, but..." She's way too good at gathering intel and doesn't even realize how valuable it is. Rachel gave her coin and said, "I've just come up with a brilliant idea. Here's your reward." "I don't know what this reward is for," Matilda beamed. "But thank you," Rachel concluded. I definitely need to keep Matilda close. A few days later, the Duchess in the disguise of Catherine went to Rachel Bakery. Rachel was out pulling out wild grass. Rachel?" Director Catherine called out, surprised. "Oh, good morning, Director Catherine," Rachel replied cheerfully. Catherine blinked at the sight before her. "Are you pulling out all these weeds by yourself? You didn't hire anyone?" Rachel smiled sheepishly, wiping some dirt off her hands. "I figured I'd get some exercise. And well, hiring help costs a bit, so I thought I'd do it myself this time." Catherine felt touched, then changed the subject. "What's the recommended menu for next week, Rachel? If you're working on something new, I'd love to give it a try." "Oh, actually, just a moment," Rachel said, rushing off for a second. She came with a box and said, "Would you mind tasting this for me?" Catherine accepted the macaron Rachel offered, studying it carefully. "Is this the soybean powder macaron you released recently?" "Yes. I've been tweaking the recipe a bit," Rachel explained. "Wonderful. I'll try it right away," Catherine said, delicately biting into the macaron. Rachel observed, though the soybean powder made it a little messy, she handled it with elegance. Catherine's eyes lit up. "My goodness. This is phenomenal, Rachel. The nuttiness and subtle flavor come through even stronger now. And it's not too sweet, it's so easy to enjoy." She smiled, pleased. "You've really outdone yourself," Catherine added. "Is there a special reason for all this extra effort?" "Yes, actually," Rachel replied. "This time, I'm holding a special event for the soybean powder macarons," Catherine asked. "Aren't they already popular with people of all ages?" "They are," Rachel agreed. "But maybe because the powder makes them look a bit messy to eat, they haven't quite caught on individually the way I hoped. So I've been refining the recipe." She looked down at her hands, then back at Catherine. "My dream is for them to become so well known that I get asked to supply them at a major event someday." "I see," Catherine smiled warmly. "What you really want is that kind of recognition. Something big enough to draw attention from important clients, isn't it? I'll be rooting for you, Rachel. You're going to do great. I just know it." Back in the kitchen, Rachel got to work. First, she whipped up the meringue. Then she sifted in the powdered ingredients and gently folded the mixture. After carefully piping the batter onto trays, she slid them into the oven. "Careful not to lose too much heat," she reminded herself. Once the shells were baked, she moved on to the cream, more meringue, a cooked syrup folded in, and a silky texture achieved. She piped it onto the shells and sandwiched them together. Then came the final step, rolling each macaron in roasted soybean powder, one after another, and another, and another. Before long, she had a mountain of soybean powder macarons, and she herself had become something of a human macaron machine. Her special event was a huge success. "This is weird," Rachel mumbled as she stared at the growing crowd. "Sure, I worked hard, but I didn't think it would be this popular. 30 boxes to go, please," someone called. "Hey, no cutting in," shouted another. Later she was looking quite worn out. "Are you all right, Lady Rachel?" a concerned voice asked. She turned to see Gray approaching. "Oh, Gray," he said. "I'll go rinse the griddles out in the yard. You're already doing enough with guarding, but thank you," she added, handing him a macaron. "Have one. It's on the house." Thank you." Gray accepted it. He ate it and liked it a lot. Looking at him, she thought, "Looks like Gray is one of us, a fellow dessert lover." Just then, Another voice roared across the yard. Lady Rachel, are you all right? She winced. This guy has a loud voice. You're not sick, are you? He asked. You look exhausted. You look terribly pale today. I know. It's just I've been baking nonstop, Rachel replied quickly. I see. I'm not very familiar with baked goods, the man admitted, more quietly now. I came to report some suspicious people nearby. Rachel's eyes widened. Suspicious people? He said. Yes. They were asking about some strange powder. Very suspicious indeed. You mean the soybean powder? She gasped. It's an ingredient for the macarons. They're customers. Don't go scaring them off. You should try one yourself, she offered. He blinked. Oh, I'm fine, really, he said hesitantly. Hound, do you have some kind of allergy? Rachel asked. He replied. No, Then no excuses. Try it, she insisted. She shoves one in his mouth. Moments later, he stood in awe. Isn't it good? Rachel asked. This deserves proper payment, he declared. I must protect this soybean pow no, this bakery no, you, Lady Rachel. Just guard the flour, please, she said, holding back laughter. Then allow me to assist with cleaning first, he said, already grabbing a sweeper. Rachel sighed. He really doesn't have to go that far, but if it makes things easier, I'll take it. Suddenly, Matilda ran in. My lady, a letter just arrived from the palace, Rachel asked. The spring ball invitation? But why'd it get sent to the bakery and not the mansion? Matilda told. It wasn't addressed to Lady Rachel. It was sent to Rachel Bakery. She quickly opened the letter and read. Regarding the upcoming spring ball, we would like to discuss a potential collaboration with your bakery's soybean powder macarons. For further details. Her eyes widened. Wait a second, is this a supply proposal from the palace? That's it. Just a supply proposal? Not even an imperial chef offer? Hound groaned in disbelief. Oh, be quiet, sir, Matilda chimed in. This is huge for my lady, Hound asked. So the shop will be closed for a while? We might need to hire temporary kitchen assistants, Matilda suggested. Rachel could hardly believe it herself. It's true, she admitted. The event was timed to get attention before the spring ball, but I didn't think it would take off this fast. What happened? She wonders. I don't have any connections to the palace. Maybe you're just really lucky, my lady, Matilda chimed in brightly. Rachel smiled faintly. Is that so? Well, whatever the reason, I need to write my reply right now. Later that evening, Rachel sat down with the palace's head lady-in-waiting. Rachel said, Sorry for the late hour, Madam Head Lady-in-Waiting. Not at all, the woman replied kindly. We already agreed to accommodate whatever time suited you best. I imagine you're curious why the Imperial Palace reached out to Rachel Bakery. Rachel nodded silently. As you know, this year's spring ball will welcome guests of all ages. Your soybean powder macarons are a perfect fit for the occasion, she explained. Rachel raised an eyebrow. And I heard there's a chance of a long-term contract, if the response is good. Can you clarify what qualifies as good? Of course. The requirement is simple, the woman replied, her expression calm but firm. Not a single macaron should be left uneaten, the woman murmured. Not an easy task, but Rachel's tone carried determination. She signed the paperwork. Here's my signature. Please ensure the display is elegant. She accepted such a difficult condition without negotiating? The lady-in-waiting thought, inwardly impressed. She said, Very well. An empty plate? I can manage that, Rachel mused to herself. In fact, this might be the best product launch opportunity one could ask for. She said, smiling. I'm grateful the macarons were recognized for their flavor and quality. I'm proud to offer desserts that live up to such high standards. The lady-in-waiting smiled to herself. I had meant to use that requirement to assert leverage in the contract. But she responded with poise, upholding the value of her product while remaining respectful. The rumors were right. She's an impressive businesswoman. Later Rachel visited the Sabre Boutique. Welcome to Sabre Boutique, Lady Rachel, the owner greeted warmly. Please, allow me to show you to the VIP lounge. It's been a while, Jorge, Rachel said as she entered. While sitting at the table, Jorge asked, I didn't expect you to come in person, not with how busy your bakery's been lately. I thought I'd drop by and say hello, she said casually. He asked, I see. Will you be wearing something eye-catching again for this year's ball? Actually, Rachel replied, I was thinking of something a bit more modest this time, like a fresh spring flower. Ah, yes. I'll go fetch a few alternate catalogs, Jorge said. Modest? Her? What's going on? He wondered. Sabril was a well-established name. Jorge was known for his humble personality and excellent craftsmanship, though he preferred safer, classic looks, refining trends rather than starting them. After boutique elegance teamed up with the rising heroine of society, Sabril had slowly begun to fall behind. She thought, but hey, I make a pretty great model too. Actually, she began. I came to pitch an idea. Is it a similar request to the last one? Jorge asked cautiously, remembering. She said, feeling embarrassed. I had something going on back then added, let me show you something first. She presented a small box. Jorge opened the box. Are these cookies? He asked. That's right. Iced cookies. I mixed the dough, cut it with custom molds, baked it, and then added the icing just as I'd envisioned. You designed this yourself? He asked, stunned. Yes. She beamed. I put a lot of care into them. They're especially for you, Jorge. He examined the cookies with interest. This is a design I've never even imagined. Very interesting, she hinted. It still needs polishing, of course. Then she said, Jorge, I'd love to collaborate with you. I want to wear this idea with your incredible embroidery, bringing it to life. Indeed, he murmured, already envisioning the potential. With Sabril's signature embroidery, it could be stunning. Perhaps an off-shoulder design that curves just below the collarbone? What are your terms? He asked. I'm so glad you're open to it, Rachel said, already prepared. I can pay 5 million Crosso up front as a contract deposit. Plus, the Lesseltine family has quite a few prominent figures. We'll all wear Sabril designs to the spring ball. All of you? Jorge asked, slightly stunned. Even with your families, let's say, complicated dynamics? Rachel gasped, remembering. Right, everyone knows Raymond and I don't exactly get along, she said. But don't worry, I'll make sure everyone wears Sabril. And I know just how to make that happen. Then she went to finance minister of the house. As she enters, burst opening the door. Samuel stammered. And my lady? I heard you called for me. Is something the matter? He asked. Nothing serious, Rachel said with a smile. I just wanted to have a friendly little chat, Assistant Samuel. Her eyes sparkled mischievously. I'll be using every tool I've got. While pouring her tea, Samuel thinks, they're saying Rachel Lesseltine has finally matured. Well, if she's barging in here like this, that rumor's clearly nonsense, he scoffed. Next time, please schedule a visit in advance, my lady. I'm sorry, Rachel said, voice calm, composed. I know how busy you are managing things for our family, but given the nature of this situation, I had no choice but to come directly. He gets surprised. Did she just apologize? And so politely, too? I'll be sure to let you know ahead next time, she added sincerely. All right, the aide replied, taken aback. May I ask what brings you here? There's been a lot of buzz about risky investments lately. Rachel began smoothly, looking at the newspaper. Especially with all those unexpected variables. She let the words hang in the air a moment before continuing, her eyes steady. For instance, like the Dainio mine, which was rumored to be a gold mine. I heard it turned out to be completely hollow, didn't it? Samuel flinched as he heard that but continued drinking tea. That struck a nerve. Panic stirred behind the aide's polite expression. He thought, why is she bringing that up now? Wait, does she know I invested in Dainio? No, there's no way she'd know that. Why don't you get right to the point, my lady? He asked stiffly. If you came for just small talk about current events, perhaps we can. What do you think of the Hectare mine? She cut in. He asked. Pardon? You mean the one you own? Not anymore, she replied. I sold it recently, to none other than Robert Denave, president of Citron's Central Bank. Apparently, it's been confirmed to produce diamonds. If you invest now, you might just recover your losses from Dainio. And put back the money you diverted. His face turned pale. How did you? My budget allocations didn't quite match up with what I actually received, Rachel said, matter of fact. And as a direct member of House Lesseltine, I do know how to read a financial report. He trembled. You knew, and instead of turning me in, you're offering a solution? What are you up to, my lady? I'm glad we're getting to the point, she said coolly. I want my brother and father to wear Sabril suits to the spring ball. That's not a hard favor to ask, he thinks cautiously. Sabril's already one of the top boutiques. Isn't she, in a way, helping me look good? But why? I happen to have a personal connection with Jorge, Rachel said. So, from now on, how about saying we have a connection too? He processed the unspoken threat. She'd keep quiet about his embezzlement, as long as he quietly let her influence certain family decisions for personal gain. He agreed. Understood, my lady. He thought, she's far more formidable than I gave her credit for. The day of the spring ball, the guard announced. Now entering, Lady Rachel Lesseltine and Lord Raymond Lesseltine of House Lesseltine. A hushed stir rippled through the ballroom. Wait, the young lord and lady came together? One exclaimed. Is that beautiful embroidery on her dress by Sabril? Another murmured. The fabric's sheer, but not at all vulgar. It flatters her beauty perfectly. And Lord Raymond's suit must be from Sabril too. Another chattered. They say the villainous rumors about her were overblown. Maybe she and the young lord patched things up? Raymond and Rachel started dance. Raymond glanced at her uneasily and asked, Are you sure this is what you want? Come on, Rachel said with a faint smile. Do you think I'd mess around when Annabelle's life is on the line? And yet, Raymond murmured. You're taking royalties from the allergy remedy recipe, she replied. Considering I handed it over to your merchant guild, not mine, he said. After all, wouldn't handing it over to me, of all people, work out best for you anyway? Oh, stop puffing your chest, she muttered. Anyway, she added lightly, enjoy your dance tonight and brace yourself for what's next. Moments later the nobleman approached Raymond. Young master, we didn't expect to see you here. We've been following your latest ventures with great interest. Perfect, Rachel thought as she turned her attention away. That pulled him away naturally. The dress should have made just the right impression by now. Ruffled lace sleeves have been the trend lately. This look should spark talk of a new one. Well then, she took a deep breath. It's time to begin the real market research. Then the guard announced, Lord Robert Denave has arrived. Wait, he came as Robert, not Daniel? Rachel blinked. Usually it's Daniel, the carefree one, who shows up to events like this. Daniel saw her and quickly approached her. She thought, is he heading this way? The whispers only grew louder. Just then the guard announced, Duke Carhan Hessen has arrived. Rachel thought, Duke Hessen too? He never comes to events like this. This is odd. Rachel thought quickly. In the original story, they only showed up together when the heroine appeared. That was the first time. I'd better get out of here before more unexpected variables show up. Then Daniel called for her. Lady Rachel. She turned. He asked, Would you grant me the second dance? Ah, with pleasure, she replied, startled. She thinks he came straight to me. Does he have something to say? Her father whispered from across the ballroom. Rachel, bring Lord Denave over here, she said inwardly. Not yet, father. As they started the dance, she asked, Is there something you have to tell me? He replied, Well, to be honest, I didn't want to miss the chance to be your second dance partner. She asked. Pardon, we are business partners after all, he said with a small smile. She asked, Isn't Daniel my business partner? Why did you show up as Robert then? That's because... He hesitated, then composed himself. Having both sides visibly support Rachel Bakery is good for your public image, isn't it? Ah, of course, it is helpful. Rachel laughed. I thought you were coming to break some terrible news or something. Well, he said seriously, I do have something to say. And it's... After renegotiating the diamond mine deal with Rachel, and with production and profits now steadily rolling in, Daniel ended up with far more funding than he expected. But for him, things only gotten busier. Most of his time is spent swatting flies away from her bakery. Even the Emperor, who's been trying to summon Robert, has been thoroughly ignored. And now, somehow, he's been dragged to the spring ball. He thinks in his mind, well, considering the amount of interest he pays the bank every month, I suppose I have been a bit dismissive lately. I should at least show my face for a moment. When he was entering the hall, he saw Rachel. He blushed looking at her. That's Rachel. Just then murmurs began. No one's asked Lady Lesseltine for the second dance. What a shame. She's wearing such a stunning dress for nothing. Daniel thought. I can hear the murmurs clearly even from across the ballroom. She must be feeling awkward. But her mind was focused on her macarons. So he realized, or not. Not in the slightest. She laughs bright, easy, unbothered. That's just like her. The checker asked. May I see your invite, pardon me? Daniel replied. No, it's nothing. He approached her thinking, unlike everyone else around me, she's always worried about me sincerely, and I wanted to dance with her. even if it meant doing something reckless. I just wanted to spare her from everyone else's mocking. The problem is, I can't just blurt out something like a confession. How am I supposed to explain asking her to dance? During their dance, he thought, this is getting kind of awkward. You thought it was strange too, didn't you, Daniel? I mean, Robert? She says quickly, seizing on a distraction. Duke Hessen never shows up to these events. Yes, he answered, grateful for the shift. Very strange indeed. Maybe he came to report something to the Crown Prince? She muses. They're very close, after all. She looks towards the Duke and he keeps glancing at her. Moments later, the Duke turned away from watching and started walking. Thanks again for the dance, Rachel says, smiling as she turns to leave. See you later, Daniel echoed. Ah, why yes. Just then, the grand announcement echoes through the ballroom. His Imperial Majesty, the son of the Thean Empire, and Her Majesty the Empress, and His Highness, the Crown Prince. She bowed, thinking, now? Of all times? Her heart sank, thinking, the male lead of the original story, the one Rachel loved, and the one who destroyed House Lesseltine. I really didn't want to run into him tonight. Then she realized, wait, Karhan. I've lost sight of him. No. If he reports anything to the Crown Prince, the bakery could be in serious trouble. So she rushed behind him looking for him. Outside, she observed, the lighting here is so beautiful. I wish I could decorate the bakery like this. But it'd probably cost a fortune. Still, I want to keep this VVIP connection going. If Karhan came here for any reason but the Crown Prince, that would be ideal. Just then a gust of cold breeze passes by, so she sniffs. She tries to cover her arms with hands. She said aloud, I've looked everywhere, but I don't see him. Where could he? Just then the Duke puts his cloak on her. What are you doing out here? He asks, approaching her. You seem sensitive to the cold, Karhan says. And yet you came out wearing this? He adds. And you're surprisingly fearless, I assume. She remembers. Make sure to dress warmly. Even in the palace, remote places can be dangerous. She thinks in her mind, he's worried about me. I think I'm starting to understand how Karhan speaks. Thank you for the cloak, she said softly. I'm actually glad I ran into you. I had something I wanted to say to our bakery's esteemed customer. He flinched, then asked. I figured. Is this about that? She began. Yes, regarding the baked flour. But he cut in. I'd prefer if you didn't mention it to anyone else. She gets surprised. Pardon? He asked her. The bakery's what? What did he just say? She stammered. And no, it's nothing. Never mind, she quickly said. You mean a different secret, right? He replied. Yes. The one you discovered about me, Rachel. So she realized, I see. He wasn't talking about the flour. He's worried that people will find out he likes sweet pastries and desserts. After his predecessor died in battle, Karhan's uncle rallied their retainers around him. To protect his mother and loyal followers from those coveting the duchy, Karhan inherited the title of Duke at a young age, and volunteered to go to war at 14. He miraculously survived and became the Duke who is respected and admired today, at least on the outside. But behind that strong facade was perfectionism, and an unbearable sense of responsibility. In the original story, Euphemia saw that burden and understood him. There's no need for me to steal that role. And yet, you can relax, she told him gently. I keep my promises. In business, nothing matters more than trust. Deep down, she knew. I can't just sit back and do nothing when it comes to Karhan. Then she looks inside her pocket to pull something out. What are you doing? He asked. She pulls out a pen and said, I once heard that if you write down something you love 3 times, it helps you feel calm. She writes on his hand. He looked at it. Marrow flowers? He questioned. He said, but I like pastries, not. She cut in. That's supposed to be a secret. From now on, marrow flowers will be our little code. She continued with a smile. Whenever you'd like to mention that, just say marrow flowers, and I'll know what you mean. He pauses for a moment, then smiled. I want to go see some marrow flowers. Her heart skipped a beat, but she said, oh, see, come by any time. Why am I getting all fluttery about this? She thought frantically. He asked, are you feeling unwell? Your cheeks have been red for a while. It's just a natural flush. That's all, she stammered. Anyway, I should head back in. See you next time. She turned, so he said, yes. I'll visit you when I want to see marrow flowers, Rachel. As Karhan was walking back, he flinched, seeing the Crown Prince standing under a tree. He bowed. Greetings, Your Highness, the rising sun of the Empire. He wonders, this is the place I always come to when I attend a banquet. How did he know I'd be here? I heard you arrived but couldn't find you anywhere, so I came looking, the Crown Prince said casually. He added, well, did you see her home properly? Karhan flinched, but the Crown Prince continued. I couldn't quite see who the lady was. It was too dark. He dismissed it, saying, anyway, I've said what I came to say. You can go now, Karhan replied. Yes, Your Highness. The Crown Prince's expression darkened. I don't like it when people keep secrets from me. But Hessen is just a dog of the imperial family. I don't care what he does. What does matter is that the lady he just spoke with danced with the head of Citron Bank, and now whispers secrets with Hessen. He smirked. I thought she was a predictable, boring woman, but it turns out she's hiding something far more interesting. He smirked. Let's see what kind of fun you bring me, Rachel Lesseltine. Later, when Rachel returned, her father gave her a list. What's this? Rachel asked, surprised. A list of servants we've let go and the new hires, her father said. Everyone who slandered you has been dismissed. As for the former head butler, he'll be dealt with personally after the interrogation. I heard you weren't feeling well and left the banquet early, he added, his voice softening. I've been neglecting you, Rachel. I'm sorry. He bowed sincerely. Rachel gets surprised. What's going on? He's actually apologizing, very sincerely, she said. Father, you don't have to apologize, but could you give me a hug? She asked, holding out her arms. Upon hearing that, her father recalled her when she was little. He thought, that's right. Rachel was once just a cheerful, innocent child. How could I have forgotten that? I'm so sorry, Rachel, he whispered, hugging her tightly. I truly am. The next day, as she was walking, her father approached her with a bowl. He asked, Are you heading out already? It's still early morning, she said. You're here again. He offered her the bowl. Here, eat this. It's supposed to be good for your health, she nervously replied. Thank you. He shoved it to her mouth. Why do you keep skipping breakfast? You shouldn't be working in that state. Mornings are always a rush, she admitted. There are backlogged orders, a new hire to train, and I'm preparing to open our second branch. That came as a shock for the Count. His voice became shaky. Second branch? Just how many of you are there? She replied. I'm finding expansion pretty fun, actually, her father said. Growing with the tide is fine, but don't let it wear you down, Rachel, he advised. And here, your maid mentioned that you need some new accessories, so he gave her allowance. She thought, I make plenty of money on my own now. She looked into the bag and it was full of coins. Father, she cried out, moved. I'll take better care of you from now on, he promised, she said. Thank you. I left some soybean powder macarons with the butler, so make sure to try them. She thought, at this rate, I might be able to gather the money for that auction even faster. You're here, boss. Her new employee greeted her cheerfully. Rachel asked, Why are you here so early? Your shift doesn't start for a while, Irene replied. I just feel better starting early like this. Rachel smiled, readying herself. If you keep this up, you can't avoid more overtime pay. Today, I'll teach you how to make blueberry bread, she said with a smile. Later, Rachel whispered to Irene. And about Duke Hessen, she replied. Don't worry, I'll act like I know nothing. So she said. Great. Then I'm heading out to the Denave Guild for a bit. Irene asked. Are you going to discuss the second branch? Will it be okay to come back here after that? I'm afraid it might be exhausting, Rachel replied. I'll be fine. I need to prep early anyway. I'll be baking lots of strawberry muffins tomorrow. As she opens the door, Daniel was standing there outside. She freaked out for a moment. Whoa, my goodness! Daniel? Rachel blinked. She wonders. I told him I'd be the one to visit. Did something happen? Why did you come all the way here? Rachel asked, surprised. I was planning to go to the Denave Guild myself, he replied. Last time, you showed up in that shabby carriage. As my business partner, you should be riding in something more fitting. Is that so? Rachel replied with a small sigh. Then next time, just send the carriage. You don't need to travel all the way here. It's no trouble, he stammered, clearly flustered. We can talk business on the way. Rachel noticed his mumbling. We've both been so busy, we hardly get any time alone, he added under his breath. Excuse me? What did you say? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Then she added, Anyway, I prepared these madeleines for you. We can share them on the way. Thank you, Lady Rachel, he added more formally. Rachel chuckled to herself. He really does love Madeleines. Good thing I prepared them. You said you'd show me a potential building for the second location, Rachel said as they rode. What kind of place is it? It's where I used to run a different shop. The location is excellent, Daniel replied. She asked. You're giving such a good spot to me? Well, it didn't do very well, actually, he admitted with a sheepish grin. Is it really a good location, then? Rachel wonders, now a little wary. By the way, he continued, which company handled the first shop's interior? Lesseltine Construction, she answered. But for the second branch, I'm thinking of going with a different company, she said inwardly. Since Raymond is managing construction now, I see no reason to boost his portfolio, he replied. That might be difficult. Lesseltine would be the ideal choice. I'm planning just a light renovation, so it's fine, Rachel said. Well, let's just go take a look. They arrived at the old building. The inside was shabby. This is the result of the last contractor's work, Daniel explained. I oversaw it myself. The furniture's all gone now, though. Rachel surveyed the space and frowned. To be honest, the vibe would kill everyone's appetite, Daniel admitted. I don't have the best eye for these things. Besides, your first store set the bar really high, Daniel added. Then she exclaimed determined. Okay then, I'll give it a try. A fresh coat of paint should be a good start, right? I'll help, Daniel offered quickly. Moments later, when they painted the interior, it didn't make any difference. She cried out thinking, yeah, I don't have the best either. Maybe we should just go with Lesseltine after all, Daniel muttered. Rachel replied, not necessarily. I could ask Father directly, she thought. Most of the crew probably went to Lesseltine Construction, so if Father oversees it himself, it'll be in line with his high standards. That'll definitely get expensive, Rachel sighed. Right now, what I can actually spend includes the allowance from Father, the earnings from the bakery, and the budget under my name. She looked at Daniel thinking, I haven't received the profits from the diamonds yet, so only one option remains. Well, it can't be helped, she muttered. I guess I'll have to pay Robert a visit soon. Upon hearing that, Daniel lit up. He offered, if it's money, I could lend it under Daniel's name, personally. Really? She asked. Then could I borrow 50 million Croso? There was a moment of silence, so she added, we'll put it in writing, of course. I'll pay every last bit back, no matter how long it takes. Daniel mumbled something. A new long-term contract with Rachel. I can write a check right now, he said. Let's start with the interest rate. Rachel watched him roll up his sleeves, startled. He's rolling up his sleeves for this? This feels like a trap. And somehow, she ended up agreeing to a pretty steep rate. Later, when she'd asked Matilda to pick out a cheap mask for the auction, she came back with a weird animal mask. Rachel sighed. I swear, Matilda never fails to surprise me. Anyway, it was time to head to the auction. As she was walking towards the building, a voice called, Lady? Pretty lady, spare a coin? A ragged voice called out to her as she neared the entrance. She turned thinking, he's talking to me, right? Rachel paused. She had a bit of cash in one pocket, and Madeleine's in the other. She decided in that case. Here, have this, she said, handing over the pastry. The boy blinked in disbelief. Is this a Rachel Bakery Madeleine? He glanced around. So she thought someone must be watching to make sure he doesn't pocket donations. Thank you, he said. She handed him the Madeleine. Go on, try it now. It'll be good, he said. Okay. He started eating it. You know, Rachel continued softly, if you want more bread, come to Rachel Bakery. Tell them the White Rabbit sent you. She leaned in and whispered, but remember, you should come alone. Then you'll be able to eat freely there. She turned away thinking, that's all I can do for now. I hope the kids can make it out and get the help they need. A voice scoffed nearby. Tisk, saving one kid won't change anything. What's the point of such a useless gesture? Rachel turned. And who are you to judge? Whether it's useless or not, we'll see. The person was the Crown Prince disguising himself. She looked irritated. Also, you're blocking the entrance. How about not wasting my time and getting out of the way? Upon hearing that, the person laughed. Rachel thought, what's wrong with him? I really hope I don't run into him again. But moments later, inside the auction house, the same person was sitting beside her. Welcome, everyone, to the Spring's auction, held only once a year. The host's voice echoed over the crowd, drawing curious eyes to the stage. Everyone claps, but the person besides Rachel kept staring at her. First, let me explain the special rules of today's auction, the host continued. We will now hand out one sheet of paper and one envelope to each participant. Please write your bid amount on the sheet and submit it. However, there's an important rule: if you want to change your bid, you may do so only once, and you must replace the entire sheet of paper. Murmurs spread through the audience. You may freely converse with others in the meantime, the host added cheerfully. What? Why go with a system like that? Rachel thought, her eyes narrowing. This is basically a mind game. Now then, the host called out. Let the auction begin. The first item was sold for 2.3 million kroso to enthusiastic applause. Congratulations, the host said. Let me present the next item. Although painted by an unknown artist, it boasts an impressive style. The piece is titled Twinkle Twinkle Sunset. Rachel blinked. What kind of name is that? Their naming sense is terrible. She raised her hand for bidding. She remembers. It makes the painting sound less impressive somehow. Maybe because it's one of the early auction items like in the original story? Though it's not like I have an eye for art in the first place. Still, the other participants probably aren't much better than me, except for the Crown Prince. The person besides her mumbled. That painting is incredible. He also raised his hand for bidding. She turned startled. What a surprise. I didn't expect this guy would actually have a good eye for these things. To the 5 participants interested in bidding, the host announced, please submit your bid. In the original story, Rachel recalled, the Crown Prince bid 50 million kroso. She scribbled quickly. Let's go with 10 million for now. Oh, my apologies, the Crown Prince said smoothly, deliberately flashing his own bid. Rachel wonders, did he just deliberately show me his bid? How do you evaluate that painting? He asked innocently. She thought, there's no need to add more competition for the Crown Prince, so... I'm not sure it's a great painting, Rachel replied. I think it'll fetch a reasonable, but not exceptional price. The prince grinned upon hearing that. He stands up and put off his mask. Wait, is that the Crown Prince? An attendee exclaimed. I agree with you, Bunny, he said with a smirk. I heard you've recently learned the value of money. Looks like you're developing a taste in art too, huh? Rachel thinks in her mind, he definitely saw my bid, and he clearly knows who I am. Wait, did he show me his bid because he thinks Rachel likes him and will just hand the painting over? She called out, standing. Can I get a new bidding sheet, please? The host complied. Here you go, my lady. The Crown Prince hummed quietly. I thought this would be entertaining, but she gave in right away. How disappointing. Still, it's better to be cautious. He also asked for a new bidding sheet. Here's your new sheet, the clerk said. Then he wrote his new bid. Rachel asked, standing. Do you not trust me? Who knows? He said lightly. I was going to bid this amount from the start. Time's up, the host announced. Please place your envelopes in the box. A hush fell over the crowd as the host reached in. Oh, now this is an interesting result. We'll start with the lowest bid, he said. First 5.5 million kroso. Rachel then called, Your Highness. The Crown Prince raised an eyebrow. Maybe you should have written a higher number? She teased. I could have raised mine, you know. Next, the host went on. 6.8 million kroso. Not that it matters, the prince murmured, since no one was going to top my bid anyway. Now, the last 2 entries. The host's grin widened. Prepare to be amazed. With only a tiny difference, the winner of Twinkle Twinkle Sunset is... The Crown Prince flinched, thinking, don't tell me. The host continued, 50 million kroso, and 50 million and 1 kroso. Sold for 50 million and 1 kroso. Congratulations. Gasps rippled through the room. The crown looks at her, stunned. The Crown Prince turned to Rachel, stunned. She smiled under the mask. See? I did say you should have written higher. He questioned her. Why would you want that painting for 50 million kroso? She replied, smug. It was 50 million and 1 kroso. He echoed, irritated. You cheeky, she said. And if you must know, it's because I felt the artist's desperate heart in that painting. Rachel recalled, in the original story, the painting was titled Emptiness, a name given by the Crown Prince himself. But if he really studied André Trois's life like he claims, he'd know. Even when Trois was a nobody, he showed up at his atelier every morning before dawn. I would know too. I go to the bakery at that same hour every day. She turned her gaze back to the painting. That painting doesn't show a setting sun, it's a rising one. The painting holds the hope that even a life spent in the shadows can one day see its dawn. She remembers. In the original story, the Crown Prince named the painting Emptiness, a symbolic move to solidify his role as the new rising sun. That decision, however, sparked conflict with the heroine, who had received the piece as a gift. I wasn't sure if I should use that knowledge. After all, meddling too much could disrupt the original plot. But, as someone who also clocks in at dawn, I couldn't just sit back and let the artist's message be misunderstood. She walked away from there smugly. The Crown Prince clenches his fist in anger, then ordered his servant, "Track that impudent rabbit, the painting Twinkle Twinkle Sunset." The servant complied. "Yes, your highness." The Crown Prince stands there thinking. I showed her my bidding paper and took off the mask on purpose. It was supposed to be a trivial amusement, and yet, he remembered Rachel's word, that painting isn't about a setting sun. It's about a rising one. It holds the hope that even a life spent in the shadows can one day see its dawn. He smirked to himself. Things just got interesting, Rachel Lesseltine. Then he instructed his subordinate, "Clear my schedule for the rest of the day." At Rachel Bakery's second branch, the painting now sat temporarily tucked in the safest place she could think of. She glanced at it, then turned her attention to more immediate concerns. I can't appraise it properly, so selling it at a high price would be tricky for the time being anyway. Let's focus on what I can sell. She looked over the display. How should I market this launch day cake? Victoria Sponge Cake. As in, Queen Victoria's favorite. Should I maybe make up a cute little backstory for the name? She eyed the strawberry cakes, then recalled the Duke saying the strawberry ones were satisfying. She thought he was kind of adorable. Well, I'd better just rename this one, she muttered. She named it Raspberry Secret Cake. She checked the oven. Bread and madeleines are done. I can't make macarons alone, so let's go with some new drinks. These fancy machines cost me a fortune. That's it for prep today, she declared with a stretch. Now let's take a little rest before opening time. Is the owner in? A voice asked. Rachel turned. A man stood at the entrance. She opened the door. The person asked, "Are you Lady Rachel Lesseltine, the bakery owner?" She replied. "Yes, that's me," he asked. "Where would you like these placed?" "Wait, what?" She blinked, confused. There were lots of flower wreaths from Daniel, her father, her sister, Catherine the foster home caretaker, and also from the Duke Carhan. He placed them beside the door. With them were written congratulatory messages. She questioned, overwhelmed. "What is all this?" The person asked. "Where should I put this one, ma'am?" she asked. "There's more?" The person replied. "Yes, this is the last one. I've never delivered something this big before." With that, the written message was, "I'll be coming for the painting soon." She wondered, who the hell is this lunatic? Should I report this? Then she paused. Wait. They called me Bunny, so could it be the Crown Prince? He instructed the delivery person. "Shove that one in the corner." She thinks in her mind, this is getting ridiculous. I really need to sell that painting soon and get him off my back. But who would actually recognize its worth? Moments later, a person entered the bakery. She greeted him. "Welcome to Rachel Bakery." A nervous young man stepped forward. "Ah, hello?" He awkwardly went in and picked only one. "Just this one, please." "And may I have some water?" she replied. "Just a moment, please." She returned with his order, then asked, "Sir, would you like to try this bread as well? It came out a bit misshapen, so I was going to use it for tasting anyway. There's a table upstairs. Please feel free to enjoy it there. All I ask is that before you leave, let me know how it tasted. I'm sorry if this is a bit sudden." The young man was visibly touched. "No, not at all. Thank you so much." The man went upstairs, but moments later, he rushed down and asked frantically, "Why is that here?" Rachel replied, "Sorry? What do you mean? Please calm down and tell me," he blurted out, slamming his hand on the table. "This is not something to stay calm about. Most of André Troyes' early paintings were destroyed by the artist himself. Almost none remain. How could something so rare be hanging on the wall of a bakery?" Rachel stared at him in disbelief, then asked, "Wait, are you? You wouldn't happen to be Andreas, would you?" The young man's eyes widened. "Do you know me?" she said inwardly. "How would I not know you? He once lived in poverty, painting landscapes. Later you were sponsored by the heroine and became so acclaimed that the emperor himself granted you a surname. The great master of landscapes Andreas Bryan," she said. "I'm a huge fan, Master Andreas." Rachel thought, heart racing. He's one of the few who can truly appreciate the painting. Later at Crown Prince's palace. What? The prince asked, brows raised. Karhan Hessen is tailing Rachel Lesseltine? Yes, came the report. It seems that way. He's been spotted several times around Rachel Bakery. Why would Karhan do that? The prince thinks to himself. It's not too hard to guess. His Majesty was never fond of the late Duke of Hessen, and one winter, when monsters were rampant, he ordered a reckless deployment. The late Duke returned a frozen corpse. His son, Karhan, inherited the title and accepted his place, choosing to become the imperial family's loyal hound. Rachel once snuck into my palace, saying she had a letter to deliver. Maybe he's just trying to prevent any future risks. But then he recalled Karhan's meeting with Rachel. No, he interrupted himself. It's not some noble reason like that. Your Highness? The aide looked confused. I don't quite follow, he instructed. I'll ask him myself. Summon Duke Hessen. At Rachel Bakery's second branch. You're a fan of mine? Andreas blinked, caught off guard. Yes, Rachel said brightly. I really want to buy the painting you made, he questioned. But how did you recognize someone as unknown as me? She flinched. I'm not supposed to say, because I know the original story. Rachel forced a smile. I'd better deflect before he gets suspicious. I came across your work by chance, she said smoothly, and I thought it was amazing. I'll buy it at whatever price you name. I can draw up the contract right now. I'm afraid that's difficult. Andreas hesitated. In fact, I'm currently out of paint, so, in that case, Rachel offered, would it be all right if I paid you in advance? What? He exclaimed. How can you trust some stranger like me? Because I truly believe in your art, she said sincerely. She recalled. And in Euphemia's discerning eye too. At an auction, what matters most is the appraisal. If Andreas becomes famous, the value of Dawn will soar. She smiled. If you'd be willing to paint something, I'll hang it in Dawn's place for now. And you're always welcome to come by for bread. After all, you're the artist who'll shine on the second floor of Rachel Bakery. His eyes welled up. I won't forget this kindness, she chuckled. First, let's get some food in you. He emptied all the dishes and remarked, It's delicious. Rachel laughed. By the way, what kind of painting do you plan to make for me? He replied. I'll paint what I'm best at, she thought. Oh, in that case it must be… She was about to say a landscape, but he said, I'll paint a portrait. Wait, what? She blinked. A portrait? As in, a picture of my face? He stood up. Yes. I can sketch it right now. This is odd, Rachel thought, watching him. In the original story, Euphemia definitely said. Rachel recalled the scene where Euphemia said, Wow, Andreas, you have such talent for landscapes. In my eyes, you're more amazing than anyone else. Rachel thought that's what she said. Did she not know Andreas was most confident in portraits? No way. The most likely explanation is, my presence is probably altering the original storyline. Phew. Andreas wiped his hands. It's finished. Would you like to see it? She replied. Sure. He handed her the portrait. She gulped before looking at it. She gasped. Andreas, thank you so much. I'll treasure it. But then she said, now that I think about it, a landscape painting might suit the bakery better. And you do have amazing talent for landscapes. In my eyes, you're more amazing than anyone else. I am so flattered. You're too kind. Andreas stammered. Then I'll prepare a landscape painting as well, she replied. Yay! I'd love that. A change in the original storyline? Rachel thought. Well, she gave a mental chuckle. Andreas, please stick to landscapes before your career goes off the rails. Later that day, as the bell jingled, she turns and said, welcome, our VIP customer. The Duke strode in, calm and casual. I came to see Marrow Flowers. He looked charming. Rachel's heart skipped a beat. He asked, but when exactly do I become a VVIP? I was planning to bump up his tier a bit later. Rachel thought, sighing internally. First, she said aloud, here's your reserved raspberry secret cake. Oh, he said theatrically. She asked, would you like to have a slice now? He replied, sure. But as he strode on the second floor, he suddenly froze. What is this? He said, staring at the wall. Why is a painting like that hanging in the bakery? Karhan called out Rachel. Yes? Rachel responded, turning toward the voice. She realized, Oh, that's the portrait Andreas drew for me. Karhan stared at the painting. This painting, the more I look at it, the cuter it seems. Did you draw it yourself? Excuse me? Rachel blinked. It's neither cute nor drawn by me. Ahem. She cleared her throat. One of my customers drew it. That's me in the painting. But thanks for calling it cute. His cheeks tinged pink, and Karhan froze. Did I just call Rachel cute without meaning to? A beat passed before Rachel looked around. Come to think of it, I forgot to bring any utensils, she said. I'll go grab some forks and plates real quick. I'll get them, Karhan interjected. She moved to protest. I can't. But he was already gone. He's fast. Is he using some sort of step technique? She wondered, impressed. As expected of the Imperial Sword, if I ever open a dessert restaurant, I'd love to hire him for table service. Then I could focus more on the baking. Then she went down, and he was already there. She exclaimed, Whoa, you startled me! You're slow, Karhan said calmly, setting the utensils down. This is the first time in my life anyone said that to me. She muttered, a little dazed. Why did you bring 2 of each? She asked. We're eating together, he replied without hesitation. She asked. I'm eating with you? Rachel blinked. The real reason Karhan ended up as the least popular male character was, don't covet what belongs to others just because you've finished your own. That absurd line he threw at the heroine. He's that serious about pastries and dessert. But now he's sharing his with me? She glanced at the table. Is it because I keep feeding him good stuff? While eating, she said. It's a great spot here, with the foot traffic. That's why a lot of people are visiting the bakery, she added, munching thoughtfully. Honestly, I can't believe the previous business that opened here didn't do well. The current bestseller's the soybean powder menu. Karhan stared. You were hopping earlier, and the way you're munching food now. His gaze narrowed in amusement. You really do remind me of a rabbit, Rachel. What? Me? She sputtered. An ex-villainess being compared to a herbivore? What an indignity. She narrowed her eyes. Well then, you, dear customer, look like... But before she could finish, she noticed a pink flush on his face. Wait, are you okay? She asked, concerned. It seems like you have a fever. I'm fine, he said stiffly. No way. Rachel looked outside from window and continued. Come to think of it, you rode here on horseback for hours, didn't you? Just then she gasped and added. You should go out this instant. It's raining, she pointed out. Then you should go check on your horse, he replied. What? All right, I'll go now. He led the horse under the canopy outside. Both of them get soaking wet. Thank goodness we had shelter ready. Rain soaked the surrounding area. Maybe I should build a proper parking setup next time, she said aloud. Thanks to you, Karhan said quietly. I realized it was raining sooner. As they entered back and the rain intensifies. It was lashing and battering. Karhan quickly closes the door and guards Rachel from the sudden gust of wind. Rachel caught the scent of rain on him. Karhan, he smells somewhat cool and fresh. It looked like a quick shower, she said, glancing up. But it's not letting up. There's a room upstairs, she offered. Why don't you get some sleep until the rain stops? What? His eyes widened. Sleep here? I must decline. I vowed to remain chaste until... She cut in. There's a soft, comfortable wing chair up there. You can take a nap there, he groaned. She said. And for the record, this is VIP treatment. Are you really turning me down in weather like this? I mean, he hesitated, blushing. I'm grateful for your kindness. I'll be sure to repay it. He looks so downcast, she thought. Is he sad it's not a bed? Even for a VIP, I can't lend out beds. That's too much. Oh, but before that, she added, could you help clean up downstairs? Some rainwater got in earlier, he replied. Understood. Moments later Karhan came after changing cloths. Rachel exclaimed, Thank goodness that outfit fits you okay. Is this Raymond Lesseltine's? He asked suddenly. What? No way. Ugh. Rachel frowned. It belongs to my business partner. He dropped by to check on the renovations and forgot it. I haven't had the chance to return it yet, he replied. You should be more cautious, she sighed. Cautious about what? But then she noticed. Oh, it looks like the rain has stopped. So she added, That's a relief, Karhan. I mean, our VIP customer. He blushed again. She realized, I said his name out loud. I'll return to the capital, he said calmly. The rain has stopped, And there's no reason to stay longer. She turned. What? Oh, have a safe trip. But he was already gone. She looked to the door. Empty. She looked outside the window. He's already gone. Then she spotted the missing item. He still remembered to grab the cake, though. She pouted. He could have told me what I'm supposed to be cautious about. She mumbled. It's not like I'm careless. I just felt safer because he was here. She thought. They say you never realize the warmth of someone until they leave. Today feels oddly lonely. A few days later, Samuel reported to the Count Lesseltine. He muttered aloud, so, Rachel recently opened a second bakery, and the Denave Merchant Guild supported her. Since I've had Daniel in mind as a potential match for her, this is good news. But when did things get so close between them? Samuel replied, well, it doesn't seem like there's anything romantic going on. Miss Rachel's simply been incredibly busy. According to the assigned guards, even after the shop closes she's still working, cleaning, testing new menu items, doing market research, tending the garden, sourcing ingredients. The Count gets shocked. Wait. Does that mean she's been doing all of that on her own? Samuel added, she's also been supporting a local foster home through the main store. Only recently did she start hiring more staff and even assigned her personal maid to help at the bakery. On top of that, she's begun sponsoring a little-known artist, a promising landscape painter with exceptional technique. Upon hearing that, the Count wondered, has my daughter finally developed an eye for people? Samuel continued, however, based on my calculations, at current flour prices, she's likely operating at a loss. As the Count heard that, he fell in despair. Alas, Rachel. If the business fails, she'll have no choice but to marry Daniel, just as I'd hoped. But I was really starting to be impressed by how much she's grown. Also, Samuel said, there's something you should urgently take a look at. He placed a document in front of the Count. The Count asked, what's this? Samuel replied, a resignation letter. Few days later, Rachel noticed renovations happening in front building. She went there and asked a worker, excuse me, can I ask you something real quick? He replied, sure. She looked at the sparkling building and asked, the new place opening in this building, it's a bakery, right? The worker replied, yes, as you can see. The owner stopped by to check on things before opening. If you're curious, go ahead and take a look. She replied, okay, thanks. She clenches her fists, observing a grand entrance, flashier than a wedding aisle. Opening a shop directly across from the same type of business, killing off basic business decency. And the name? Lapper Bakery. Lapper means rabbit in another language. Could it be? Just then a voice called out, you're later than I expected. I figured you'd come storming in right away, so I've been waiting. It was the prince, so. She gets shocked, thinking, this wasn't one of Raymond's schemes? After looking at her confused face, the prince said, I even gave you a hint with the bunny thing, for crying out loud. I see, she said coldly. But what does any of this have to do with you, your highness? He replied. I also sent a wreath, remember? While remembering, she said, that was you? Rachel then said, still, the interior didn't look like it was done by just any company. You've got an eye, I'll give you that. He smirked. I hired Lesseltine Construction. Rachel's expressions changed quickly. I knew it. What the hell, Raymond, did he get bewitched or something? Why is he trying to sabotage everything I do? Anyway, he continued, you're still keeping my painting, aren't you? I mean Twinkle Twinkle Sunset. She refused. It's dawn, thank you very much. And it's mine. I won it fair and square. I don't get why you're going this far over it, she added. I like the painting, he said. And I've never let something I wanted stay in someone else's hands. Name your price, Bunny, and give it to me. Rachel thought, he's this obsessed? If he gave it to Euphemia in the original story, how much did he really like her? Should I just jack up the price and sell it? Of course, he went on. Once I have it, the title changes to Emptiness, she replied. What? No way, then I'm definitely not selling it, the prince argued. You might want to think that over. Just then someone interrupted their feud. Boss, where should I put this bread? Rachel gets shocked to see Matilda there. Matilda said, My lady, it's been a while. Rachel asked, shaking. Matilda? What are you doing here? She replied. Didn't you read the letter Iron probably wrote today? Rachel replied. I haven't checked yet, Matilda said. You didn't? Well then, that explains it. Starting today, I'm working here. A few days ago the Crown Prince approached Matilda. He said, They say you're the longest standing employee at Rachel Bakery, right? Have you ever considered leaving and helping me out instead? She replied. I'm actually pretty happy working for Lady Rachel, so I haven't really thought about leaving. The prince offered an enormous amount and asked, What do you say now? Back to present, Matilda said. Well, it was too much to turn down. He also said he'd compensate me properly, so I figured it'd be a win-win. After that, Rachel called out. Matilda, she replied. Yes? Rachel said. His Highness just opened his bakery. It would be rude to leave here empty-handed. Can you go ahead and pack up some bread for me? From there to there. All of it. Right now. Matilda scurried away saying, Wait a second, please, my lady. The Crown Prince giggled then smirked. He said, If you don't want to lose what's yours, you'd better think hard about what choice to make. With that tiny head of yours. His eyes gleamed. I won't be giving you much time, Lady Rachel. Before leaving, the prince said, I'll be going now. Think about what I said, Rachel. Meanwhile, Rachel stands there in front of Matilda silent. Matilda said, My lady, please say something. Rachel said, Matilda, come here for a second. Matilda asked, You're not going to hit me, are you? Rachel said, What are you talking about? Then she whispered something into her. Upon hearing that, Matilda felt chills. She quickly writes on a paper and said, Here, I'll ring you up over here and here. This is the receipt you asked for. When Rachel returned, she found the letter of iron. Matilda suddenly didn't show up for work. She just left a note saying she'd moved on to a better job. Rachel sighed. So that's what was in the letter. I missed it because I was so busy that day. Then Daniel said, I apologize. I should have prepared for this more thoroughly. As soon as I heard the news, I assigned some temporary staff to the main shop. Rachel replied, Thank you for rushing over like this. And honestly, this is mostly my fault. I didn't expect Matilda to go this far. She exhaled heavily. The truth is, my relationship with her was built on money. And in a money game, I lost to the Crown Prince. As for the recipe being leaked, I don't think that'll be an issue, Daniel said. But they copied every single menu item from Rachel Bakery. Rachel offered. How about you try some of what they're selling? Ah, sure. He unwrapped one and ate it. It was queasy and crumbly. Looking at another, Rachel asked, Do you want to try this one too? It's a strawberry yogurt macaron. It looks fine on the outside, Rachel murmured. But something smells off, she said. I was eating it earlier but couldn't bring myself to swallow it. Hearing that, he thought, She was eating it, then I'm definitely eating it. He tried again but throws out. Rachel offered her water. Here, have some water. After a pause, Daniel said, If this is their quality, we really don't need to worry, Rachel said. Matilda was only helping with basic tasks. The Imperial chefs will fix most of the problems soon, though. The bigger problem is that the Crown Prince is a brilliant magic item developer. You can tell the moment you step inside his bakery is filled with cutting-edge magical devices. And once people find out he's the one behind it, we won't be able to compete on equal footing. Daniel asked, Should I have him expelled from my territory? Rachel said, This isn't the time for jokes. I'm serious, he replied. I wasn't joking. Then he narrowed his eyes. In that case, Rachel filled in. An eye for an eye. A scheme for a scheme. That's what we'll do. Later she went to Matilda where she was staying. Rachel said, You bet on the wrong horse, Matilda. Before she whispered to Matilda, Listen carefully, Matilda. Once the Crown Prince finds you useless, you never know what he'll do. I'll come find you, so just draw me a map of where you're staying right now. Matilda's kneeled. What do you mean by you never know what he'll do? Rachel said. I mean your life could be in danger, Matilda replied. My life? I just wanted to make one big score. Rachel's expression softened. I know why she's so obsessed with money. I can't bring myself to fully blame her. She once said she has a younger sibling with an incurable illness. She's practically buying time for her loved one with every coin she earns. Still, stealing recipes is a serious offense. I can't just let that slide. Rachel asked, stepping forward. Did the Crown Prince happen to say this too? That he'd shut down the bakery as soon as he got what he wanted? Matilda replied. Yes, he did, Rachel muttered. Then I wonder how he'll shut down the people. Upon hearing that, Matilda flinched and cried. I'm sorry, my lady. I really am. Rachel looked at her with quiet resolve. So do you want to come back to my bakery? If you truly regret what you did, I'll forgive you, Rachel thought. The Crown Prince doesn't dispose of people recklessly. But betrayal? That's a different story. Someone like Matilda, who can easily be swayed by money. She's a liability. He'll definitely get rid of her. I'll do whatever it takes to keep you safe, Rachel said. But you'll have to help me with something. Later, while working in her bakery, Rachel thought, being near the port means lots of foot traffic but few regulars. That's why a refined, classy exterior is important. Against that kind of opponent, there's only one weapon: excellence in taste. She smiled faintly. This time, I'm working on a new menu item. Brioche topped with whipped cream and fresh fruit. Its tangy flavor pairs perfectly with the sea breeze. It also goes well with the iced tea or Americano we serve. Hours passed as she experimented, tasting and retasting. At last she groaned, dropping her spoon. It's already 11 p.m.? I can't believe it. She sat down to relax. Lately, the days feel shorter and shorter. I've taste tested so much that I can't even tell if it's good anymore. If only Karhan were here. He never gets tired of sweets. Just then a guard interrupted. Lady Rachel, you have a guest. His Grace Duke Hessen is here. She went to him and greeted. Welcome to Rachel Bakery, he replied. Sorry to drop by so late. I stopped by Lapper Bakery and figured I'd come here as well. It's fine. I was hoping to see you anyway. Rachel's words slipped out a little too quickly, and Karhan blinked. Hoping to see me? Before he could respond, she beckoned eagerly. Come, please take a look at this. He followed her to the entrance, where he noticed an automatic door. Rachel said, I've upgraded some of the interior features too. I want to give our customers the best experience possible. Karhan examined the device. This must burn through a fair amount of magic crystals. Exactly. But I have to catch up before Lapper Bakery pulls too far ahead. She hesitated, then asked, compared to the bread or desserts at your estate, how do our products measure up? Our house doesn't have a personal pâtissier, so it's been hard to get a benchmark. Karhan asked. Then how did you learn your baking skills? I never officially studied. I read books, did my own research, and tried to figure out what people like best. Lately, I've been considering adding a premium line too. Her voice dropped. Though I suppose that doesn't matter anymore, since you chose Lapper Bakery anyway. As she said that, Karhan stepped towards her. She backed away. He pulls out a wall slam and said, Rachel, you need to rest. She blushed and quickly sits down, getting free from the situation. She blurted, Since you're already here, there's something else I wanted to show you. Just a second, Your Grace. She scurried away saying that. While picking the item, she thought, Wait, what just happened? Did Karhan just pull a romantic wall slam on me? No way, he's trying to flirt. He's maybe just worried about my health. Because I'm his favorite bakery's pâtissier? Yes, that sounds right. She remembers, Karhan's love for sweets was stronger than his love for Euphemia after all. He even cares about the health of the baker who makes his favorite pastries. If I don't know the original story, I might have misunderstood everything. Thank goodness I do. Rachel hurried off, returning with a tray. As Karhan tasted it, he said, This is really good. Rachel said, It's a new menu item I've been working on, and I wanted you to be the first to try it. Normally, brioches are refrigerated at a certain temperature, which also cools the fruit's natural moisture. When you eat them together with the sweet custard sauce on the brioche, the flavor is just right. The chilled whipped cream and fruit help cut through the sweetness, so it doesn't feel heavy even after a few bites. He remained silent as she chattered, then asked, You love this work, don't you? She beamed. Of course I do, sir. This is the one thing I love doing most in this world. He paused at her wording. This world? Is she talking about the Lesseltine house? Come to think of it, he had noticed a wreath earlier from Count Lesseltine. It had simply read, Make it big. Oh, you noticed? Rachel said lightly. I took them down pretty quickly. But yes, my father wants me to succeed more than anyone else. Karhan flinched upon hearing that. He had heard how she was treated by her family, and yet even while carrying the weight of their expectations, she poured so much of herself into the things she loved most. He tasted it and said, Remarkable. He couldn't even imagine how many loaves she must have baked just to perfect this balance. Is he getting emotional over more than just the brioche? Rachel wondered. Well, never mind, there's something more urgent right now, she said quickly. There's something I'd like to ask of you, sir. Something only you can help me with. She set out several plates. I'm narrowing it down to just 2 fruits for now. I can't stock too many, or I'll take a loss. So first, try the strawberry one again. Perfect, he said after tasting. She went on. Okay, next up is mango. He tasted it. Not bad. And raspberry, well, there are quite a few, actually. Blueberry, kiwi, melon, green grapes, grapefruit, pineapple, orange. I've tried a mixed fruit one too, but that's not ready for sale yet. He tasted them and said, "We'll go with strawberry." Rachel smirked. I knew it. He always loses objectivity with strawberries. And melon, he added, because it's hot these days. Her eyes lit up. Excellent choice. With the heat, the juicy melon will feel refreshing. Those were exactly the two I had in mind. He felt shy and blushed. Cheeks tinged pink. Wait, Rachel said, tilting her head. Did you ride a horse here again today? You seem a little flushed. He averted her gaze. I took a carriage. I naturally run warm, she quickly said. Ah, I see. You can have some lemon water then. He nodded. She then smiled brightly and said, Thank you for the advice on the new items. As a token of thanks, I'll stamp your loyalty card. Stamp? He echoed. She replied, I'm starting a coupon system tomorrow. When you collect enough stamps, you'll get a free Americano or iced tea. He replied, A fine system. Where's my card? She replied, I'm going to make them now. As he watched her gather supplies, Karhan blinked in disbelief. She's making coupons that go into effect tomorrow, right now. In the middle of the night? He called out, Wait a second. Yes? Rachel blinked as Karhan suddenly stopped her. He asked, Do you even know what time it is right now? She glanced at the clock. HM. 11:30 p.m. If you wait just a bit, I'll whip yours up real quick. You won't have to wait long. Let me help, he offered, picking up a pair of scissors and paper. I enjoy cutting things with scissors. Really? Then would you mind helping just for a moment? Rachel's eyes brightened. Thank you so much, sir, he replied. My pleasure. As they worked side by side, he glanced at her. Don't you ever feel like resting? I don't want to rest, she answered softly. Not yet, he smiled. I see. Then they continued working. Rachel thought, to Karhan, I must have seemed a little strange, but an honest pâtissier he can't live without. No matter how I look at it, Karhan isn't truly the crown prince's loyal ally. Even in the original story, he only followed the prince because of Euphemia. So, as long as he doesn't do her harm, maybe I really can keep trusting him? The next day, trouble brewed across the street at Lapper Bakery. You're out of the Choco Bomb macarons? Are they sold out? A customer asked. Nope, Matilda replied flatly. We just didn't make them, the customer asked. Then what about the tiramisu? She replied. Didn't make that either, he said. But you had them yesterday. Matilda cut him off. No, I said we didn't make them, the customer huffed. All right then, have a nice day. As he left, he thought, what kind of customer service is that? There's that bakery across the street. Maybe I'll try there instead. Matilda looked uneasy. He looked like someone with money, so I got nervous. Anyway, the operation's going smoothly. Meanwhile, the crown prince entered. Greetings, your highness. Still no sales today? He asked sharply. Worse than yesterday, actually, came the nervous reply. The prince frowned. The bakery across the street had a whole line out front. What's going wrong here? I'll have to check for myself. Matilda remembers Rachel's word. The imperial pâtissiers will definitely come up with new flagship items. Probably chocolate pastries and high-end desserts. But His Highness usually has so much on his plate, he wouldn't notice unless someone told him. And since he can't come by often anyway, we only had to do two things: keep the best sellers a secret and give terrible customer service. Matilda thinks in her mind. I didn't think Lady Rachel's plan would work this well. They're way more careless than expected. Just then the prince called out. Hey, Matilda. It's Matilda. She muttered under her breath. Yes, your highness? He asked. That customer who just left, what was he looking for? He wouldn't leave empty-handed for no reason, she replied. He asked about a 2-tier whipped cream cake. I told him we only take orders in advance for those, so he left, the prince replied. I see. The prince left the bakery and said to his subordinate, I've got an order for you. Follow that person who just left. Find out why he walked away without buying anything. Across the street, Rachel's bakery bustled with life. Rachel called out, Welcome to Rachel Bakery. Our strawberry and melon brioches are fresh out. Let's start by displaying the ones with whipped cream, please. A servant replied. Yes, ma'am. At the counter, a cheerful customer said, I'd like to pay, please. I'll use my coupon for an Americano. Sure, I'll take care of it right away. Rachel smiled, though inside she was gasping for air. I'm so swamped I can't even breathe. Which means, Lapper Bakery must be dead quiet by now. Looks like Matilla's doing her part well. The Crown Prince must be panicking. But he's no fool. He'll catch on soon enough. Sure enough, at Lapper Bakery, the Crown Prince turned on his staff. Why did you tell customers we weren't making the popular items? What are you talking about, Your Highness? Matilla stammered. He questioned. And how were you supposed to treat the customers? She replied. Politely? With kindness? He slammed his hand on the table and shouted. Yeah, right. But people are saying Lapper Bakery is doing the exact opposite. Matilla replied. What? That's the first I've heard of it. I worked diligently under Lady Rachel as well. Hesitantly she added. Then, don't tell me. Your Highness is the one who… Me? His eyes narrowed. That's ridiculous. A servant who betrays their master is of no use. You're fired, Matilla. Later another servant told him. Your Highness, I don't even know what kind of bread to bake tomorrow so we don't end up tossing it out. The prince sighed. Being near the coast, people here naturally prefer light, fruity flavors over heavy chocolate. I failed to analyze that properly and made chocolate the main focus. Even without the poor customer service, this bakery wouldn't have lasted long. He stood in silence, then finally declared, Lapper Bakery is closing. Wrap up what's left, and let's return to the capital, he said to himself. Once again, it's my total defeat. Rachel, while returning to her place, Matilla thinks, I really thought I was finally going to make a ton of money this time, but… She recalled the scene where she gets fired and thinks, unlike the Crown Prince, who couldn't even remember my name to the very end, Lady Rachel has always called me correctly, Matilla. But now, with my credibility shot, I would probably get kicked out of her shop too. She wondered, how am I supposed to survive now? I've got so much to worry about. She reached her place and opened the door. She decided, I guess I'll have dinner first and get ready for work tomorrow. As she went in, before she could act, a person puts a knife to her neck. She freaked out and plopped to the ground. The sharp voice cut through the air. You'll pay the price for betraying His Highness. Please, spare me! Matilla gasped. She closed her eyes in fear, but something else happened. She heard another voice smacking. She opened her eyes and saw Sir Sharp there standing, who apprehended the assassin. She gasped. Sir Sharp? She's just unconscious, Sharp replied. Please get up. My charge is looking for you. Sir Sharp escorted her to Rachel. Seeing her, Rachel said, so the Crown Prince made his move this quickly. Thank goodness I asked Sir Sharp to keep an eye out. She added, Are you okay, Matilla? You'll sleep here tonight, my lady. Tears welled in her eyes. I'm so sorry and thank you. I'll make up for my mistake by taking a salary cut for a whole year. Rachel blinked. What? She gets startled. A salary cut? A whole year's worth? Matilla replied. Yes. Rachel studied her. Matilla, who's obsessed with money, is offering to take a pay cut. She must really mean it. Rachel replied. I can see you're truly sorry, so calm down for now. And no, there will be no pay cut. Matilla asked. What? But why? I did something awful, Rachel replied. Why? Because everyone deserves to be paid for the work they do. You'll make up for your mistake by never betraying me again. Got it? Matilla felt touched. Oh, my lady! You're the best. I'll never betray you again. I'll be your loyal dog for life. Rachel smiled inwardly. Perfect. Mission accomplished. Matilla is completely mine now. The next day, Rachel's shop was lively. Matilla greeted the customers. Welcome to Rachel Bakery. Customers noticed immediately. The automatic door and serving magic tools are gone? Oh, those were just for events, Rachel explained. Our pastries always taste amazing though. And indeed, Matilla was working with infectious enthusiasm, bustling about so much that Rachel felt at ease. Now I can focus on other things. Welcome to Rachel Bakery, Matilla greeted again. A man entered, and Matilla froze. The customer recognized her. Huh? You're the weirdly rude staff from Lapper Bakery. It's that rich customer, Matilla whispered. Rachel asked. Matilla? Do you know him? She hesitated. Well, the customer grinned. Aha! So you were originally working here? Rachel crossed her arms. Well, I just took back a staff member who'd been stolen. That's all. The man chuckled. If you don't mind me asking, have you ever worked as a pâtissier for the palace or a noble family? No, I haven't, sir, Rachel replied. He asked. Then, how would you like to become my personal pâtissier? Rachel asked, confused. Pardon? He explained. The melon brioche here is simply divine. I tried it yesterday, and I can't get it out of my head. I'm Kuzan, the second prince of Heracles. I can guarantee you a comfortable life and a generous salary. Feel free to reach out whenever you'd like. He extends his card to her. Later at night, while preparing for sleep, Matilda was brushing her hair. Rachel said, I never imagined I'd meet the second prince here. It's possible, my lady, Matilda whispered excitedly. Denave Port is the empire's largest, after all, and the second prince does work in trade. Plus, it's the academy break season. They say the sea in Heracles is emerald green. Do you think that's true? She asked. If you end up going, you'll take me with you, right? Instead, Rachel replied. Matilda, is that why you insisted on brushing my hair, even though you're bad at it? Matilda asked. You noticed? Rachel replied. Of course I did. Now, hand it over. I'll do it. She giggled. Hee hee, only if you promise to take me with you. Rachel laughed. I haven't even decided if I'm going yet. Aha! Matilda laughed. Prince Kazan, meanwhile, savored another bite. This really is delicious. Before I return, I might buy out the whole batch. I bet Euphemia would love it too. Don't stay up too late reading romance novels. Rachel fussed as Matilda was about to leave. She only smiled faintly and replied, Good stories make you healthier, even without sleep, my lady. Matilda murmured softly. It's been so long since I last saw you smile like that. You look cute and innocent, just like someone your age should. She imitates her. You smile like this all the time, you know. Rachel blinked, flustered. What are you talking about? Stop saying nonsense and go get some sleep. Yes, my lady. Matilda agreed with a grin, then skipped off. Rachel shook her head, amused. Oh, Matilda, what am I going to do with you? Her thoughts drifted back to the offer from the second prince. He said he'd return before leaving in 2 days. I should just get some proper sleep and think about it tomorrow. Thinking that, she drifted asleep. The next morning, Matilda knocked on her door and said, My lady, I'm sorry to wake you, but the head of the Denave Guild is here. Daniel? At this hour? Rachel sat up in surprise. Daniel stepped in soon after. Did you come right away after receiving my letter? She asked. I was going to talk to you once I went up to the capital, he replied. I happened to be nearby on other business and received your letter earlier than expected. I rushed over though in hindsight. It's quite a late hour. No, not at all, Rachel said warmly. It's always good to see a friend. Daniel's expression hardened slightly. I just heard from your attendant that you were offered a position. Rachel hesitated. Well, I haven't decided yet, but I have thought about going abroad someday. Abroad? His brows furrowed. You mean outside the empire? He added. In fact, I'd like to hire you first. I'll pay you more than that, more than whatever the second prince offered. Once the diamond business settles, I'll have more opportunities to visit Avir Kingdom. So, please don't go, Rachel. She laughed it off. There are plenty of delicious bakeries out there already. Do you really like my pastries that much? He stammered. Well, that's true, but... She yawned while saying, if I relied on your help that much, I'd feel like I owed you something. She shook her head gently. I'm sorry, Daniel. I really need some sleep. If I take something, then I have to give something in return, so... Her voice trailed off as drowsiness overcame her. Without noticing, Daniel laughed. I know, but... He raised her head, seeing her coughing. Rachel? Rachel! Daniel called urgently, but she had already collapsed. When she opened her eyes again, Matilda was at her side, fretting. My lady, are you feeling okay? Rachel replied, It looks like I fainted for a bit. Where's Daniel? Matilda told, My lady, you've been asleep all day. What? Rachel's eyes widened in shock. The doctor came by, Matilda said quickly. He said you need to rest at least a week. It's not just a cold, sleep deprivation, overwork. My God, how could you let yourself get like this while I was gone? You were clearly sick yesterday too, and you didn't even show it. Rachel sighed weakly. If we're pointing fingers, you switching over to the crown prince's side is what made everything harder. Matilda gasped, horrified. Now that you mention it, I shall atone for this sin with my body and soul. I don't need that, Rachel replied. Just do your job properly. Determined, Matilda rushed off to change the towel. Here, please read this in the meantime. Rachel picks it up and said, "This is? Daniel wrote this?" Rachel unfolded the letter. "Please don't push yourself. Get plenty of rest and recover well. P.S. If you ever wish to leave the Empire, just say the word. I'll support you in every way I can." "Wasn't he the one who told me not to go?" Rachel murmured. Matilda chimed in. "The Denave Guild Master carried you to bed himself the moment you collapsed. He kept changing your towel until just a little while ago, too." "Daniel nursed me?" Rachel muttered, blinking in disbelief. "He must have just been worried he wouldn't get to eat madeleines if I fell ill." "Well, that's true," Matilda admitted sheepishly, but still. Rachel smirked faintly. "I suppose I am kind of irresistible when I bake." Her thoughts turned inward again. If the story goes as it should, Euphemia will return from studying abroad and start all kinds of ventures. That will inevitably pit her against the Lesseltine family. And then, I'll be cast as the Villainess. So maybe, going to Heracles really is the right move for me. A country where central authority has collapsed, where royalty is only symbolic, freer than the Empire. The prince offered me a fortune, plus support settling in. Honestly, it's the perfect opportunity to build my own business. "What are the other letters, Matilda?" Rachel asked suddenly. Those are all mine." Matilda winked. "I need to maintain my own connections too." Matilda quickly brightened. "Oh, right. Irene was too shy to write this in her regular report, so she asked me to tell you directly. She says you're her role model, my lady, and that you're the coolest person in the world." Rachel blinked, taken aback, before smiling softly. "Here's a fresh towel." Matilda rushed back in, putting a dripping cloth on her forehead. Rachel cried out. It's soaking wet," Matilda asked. "Should I wring it out more?" "Just a second." "Hey, water's dripping," Rachel exclaimed, dodging. "Okay then, get some rest now, my lady." Matilda beamed proudly, as if she had solved everything. Rachel leaned back, her gaze softening as she thought, yes, this empire is already full of things I built, and things I'll continue to build. I'll protect them, the things that matter to me. "You're back, Kazan?" Euphemia greeted lightly. "Did the trade go well?" he replied. "Of course, my beautiful princess, Euphemia." "Princess? Stop joking." She arched a brow, but he only smirked as he handed her a document. "Here's a copy of the trade invoice, Princess Euphemia." She shook her head at his theatrics, but before she could chide him again, he added with a more thoughtful tone. "Honestly, I'm not sure the Denave Guild is worth investing in." "Still," Euphemia countered, "doesn't it seem like there's infinite growth potential?" "Thank you again, truly. Don't mention it. Anyway, try this." He offered her a small parcel. "Oh right, what did you bring?" she asked, curious. He added, "You're interested in the baking business too, right?" "I tried to scout the owner of this bakery, but she turned me down." "The bakery's called Rachel Bakery." "Rachel Bakery," Euphemia echoed, tasting the name. Kazan offered her a bite. "Here, have a bite." The moment she tasted it, her eyes widened. "This is delicious. Why did she turn you down? You must have made her an offer hard to refuse." Kazan shook his head, recalling. "Well, I'm sorry. She told me this bakery means so much to her that she can't leave it behind." He added, "That's what she said?" Euphemia fell into thought, then murmured, "I see. Still, I really want to meet her someday." Imperial Capital, Rachel Bakery, main store. When Rachel visited her main shop with Matilda, a boy approached them. "So your name is?" Rachel asked gently. "It's Jade. I want to work here," the boy declared eagerly. Rachel asked, "Huh? All of a sudden?" the boy asked. "Don't you remember me, ma'am?" she replied. "Of course, I saw you in front of the auction house," the boy added. "Thanks to you, I was able to find courage. At first, I didn't think I could leave my friends behind. They're all younger than me, but still. Thanks to Irene and Duke Hessen, everyone's doing well now at the foster home," Jade explained earnestly. "It's all thanks to you. You're amazing, ma'am. The best boss ever. I want to work and repay you somehow." Rachel softened. "But, you're a little too young to hire. By imperial law, kids your age can only help with household farming." "What? Can't you bend the rules somehow?" "I'll work really hard, okay? Please." His eyes pleaded desperately. Rachel faltered. "Don't look at me like that. It reminds me of my little sister," she sighed. "For now, how about I make you some warm bread?" the boy asked. "What should I do first?" "Nothing. I'm making it myself," she said firmly. Before she could turn away, a bright voice rang out. "Oh my!" Catherine exclaimed. Rachel turned and saw Catherine. "It's been a while, Rachel! I miss you!" Catherine welcomed her warmly. "I heard the news you opened a second shop in the Denave territory? That's probably why you look a bit tired," Rachel replied. "Maybe it's from the long carriage ride." Catherine turned to the boy. "And, Jade, you snuck out again, didn't you?" "Don't trouble Rachel," Catherine muttered. "I'm sorry," he admitted. "So he did sneak out," Rachel thought with a faint smile. "It's so good to see you again, Catherine. I'll drop by the foster home sometime soon." "Please do," Catherine replied brightly. "Come see the kids you helped rescue. They're all doing well," Rachel replied. "I didn't do much, really. I heard Duke Hessen and Iron did most of the work." "That's true," Catherine admitted. "I had to argue with Carhen for a while to stop him from taking this one. I knew he'd teach him swordsmanship, but Jade wanted to learn baking instead." Rachel paused, tilting her head. "Catherine, are you close with Duke Hessen?" "Pardon?" Catherine flustered, nearly caught off guard. Rachel asked. "You sounded pretty familiar with him just now." "No way! Oh ho ho ho!" She laughed nervously, coughing into her hand. "Are you okay, Catherine? I'll get you some water." Rachel moved quickly, but Catherine waved her off. "It's nothing. Actually, I just remembered something urgent. I should go. Let's talk more next time, Rachel." And with that, Catherine hurried off in a rush while taking Jade with her. "Didn't she come here to buy something?" Rachel wondered after she left. Then Attila smugly added with a huff. "Humph, so the little guy wants to learn to bake, huh? That's too bad. We can't reveal our bakery's secret recipes to just anyone. You don't even know them yourself," Rachel retorted, exasperated. "You've only worked the counter and run errands so far." Attila flinched but fell silent. "Anyway," Rachel sighed, "let's get going." At night, Rachel returned to her home. Annabella called out crying. "Rachel!" She burst in with sparkling eyes and flung herself at her. "I miss you so much." "I miss you too, Annabelle." Rachel laughed, hugging her back. "By the way, is it someone's birthday today?" Rachel asked as the servant were prepared for an event. Annabelle replied, "No, why?" Before she could answer, another voice asked, "Rachel, you're home." "I'm back, Father," she answered in surprise. "But what's with all the decorations?" Just then curtains flutters written on them. "Rachel is back. Congrats. Welcome home, Rachel Lesseltine." "Congrats," her father said. "Welcome home, Rachel." Everyone clapped for her. Rachel gets surprised. "Huh!" Meanwhile in the palace, the crown prince was walking. "Brother, you're back," Reuben called out. "Yes," came the curt reply. Normally, his brother would smile warmly and say something like, "Ah, my dear Reuben, how have you been? I miss you." But today, his tone was clipped, his expression dark. "Did something happen in the Denave territory?" Reuben asked cautiously. The prince flinched and said, "Just go inside, Reuben," Reuben replied. "Okay, brother." After the prince left, Reuben turned to the nanny. "Nanny, why is he so pissed off?" "Your Highness," she gasped, "please watch your language." "But that's something he says all the time," Reuben argued. Nanny thinks in her mind, "If he's going to pick up harsh words elsewhere, I'd rather soften them myself." The nanny said, "Well, I only heard it through rumors, but apparently there's a young lady named Rachel from Count Lesseltine's family. Recently, she's been nicknamed the Bread Baking Witch, and apparently she won with her bread." "What?" Reuben's eyes widened. "Don't tell me, the witch attacked my brother with bread?" she replied. "What?" "Oh, something like that." Then she added, "You should also cut down on sweets for now, Your Highness. You might get cavities, so." Reuben thinks in her mind, "So she baked this terrifying bread strong enough to defeat my amazing brother. I won't forgive her." Reuben clenched his fists. "Unforgivable, you witch." At dinner, the grand hall was full of festive decorations. "Welcome home, Rachel Lesseltine," voices cheered. The count said, "I told them to prepare lots of delicious food. Come now, let's go have dinner." Rachel blinked in surprise. "Yes, but how did this welcome party end up happening?" "Samuel suggested it," the count explained. "Since you were coming home after a long time, he thought it'd be nice to throw a welcome party." Rachel raised a brow. "Samuel." Just then Raymond added, "Samuel came up with this ridiculous idea?" "No, forget that. What I can't believe is that Father actually agreed to it," Raymond said. Leave me out of dinner. Raymond, that's... The Count began, but he cut them off. Rachel thought, well, good. If I had to eat with him, I'd probably lose my appetite. Hey, Ray, I mean, brother, Rachel stammered. Raymond froze. Did you just call me Ray? Ugh, I misspoke. Reuben panicked, feeling disgust, but she calmed down and said, anyway, you knew, didn't you? The Lapper Bakery building, it was built by Lesseltine Construction under commission from the Crown Prince. The Count asked. What are you talking about? Why would Lesseltine Construction be handling another bakery's building? The Count turned to him. Raymond, don't tell me you went ahead with this behind my back. It's all right, father, Rachel interrupted. He should know better than anyone how that bakery turned out in the end. Let's just eat dinner now. Just then Annabelle asked, Rachel, what's that you're holding? Oh, this? She smiled. A new item we made at the second branch. I brought a few since I was stopping by the main store. The Count exclaimed. You didn't have to go through all that trouble. You must be tired, you could have come straight home. Rachel replied. I thought we could share them as a snack. Let's eat them after dinner. You're the best, sis, Annabelle cheered. Rachel thought while enjoying the cake with her family, this is strange. It actually feels like I've come home. But I shouldn't feel like this. I'm still an adopted daughter, and someday I'll be the one with less protection. I can't let myself get too comfortable. The next day Matilda beamed as she officially entered the bakery's kitchen. She exclaimed with excitement, Thank you, everyone. I'll continue to be your loyal dog. Calm down, Matilda, Rachel said firmly. I'll be baking the important things, so just focus on supporting me. And absolutely no leaking recipes, she replied. Yes, my lady. You can count on me. Rachel guided her patiently. The heavy ingredients are on the lower shelf, the light ones up top. If we run out of cake decorations, check the storage under the display counter. You'll memorize it all as you go. Oh, and there's flour in the shed out back, but don't go there. Some knights are blocking it for reasons. You trust me, right? Is it haunted or something? I'll never go near it, Matilda squeaked. All right, let's start baking our new item, Rachel said. Something cool and refreshing for summer. Our new item, baby shoe. They gathered the ingredients: flour, eggs, butter, baking powder, powdered sugar. As Rachel whisked, she sighed. Ugh, my arm hurts. Come to think of it, why don't we have an automatic whisk? Magical tools cost a fortune to develop, Rachel explained. And the rich don't really need something like an auto whisk. I hope you get rich soon, my lady, Matilda said brightly. Soon the kitchen was filled with a sweet, creamy aroma. Sweet and creamy custard, done, Rachel announced. It's so yummy, my lady, Matilda exclaimed. You already tasted it? Rachel scolded. Matilda asked, but do you think I'll be able to make this on my own? Rachel replied. Don't worry. Until you get the hang of it, I'll guide you. However, later another presence approached the bakery. Reuben said, this must be the place. The bakery where the witch who defeated my brother lives. He was with two of his guards. The boy in disguise stood tall. Only you follow me. And don't you dare call me Prince. Huh? Then what should I call you? His companion asked. Reuben said, My name is Ben. And you are my father? His guard asked in shock. Pardon? Reuben went on. When going undercover, one must always hide their identity. That's what my brother told me, the boy declared proudly. They moved closer, weeds brushing in front of them. Those weeds are blocking the path. Cut them down and clear the way, the boy ordered. Both of his guards asked in disbelief. What? You just said you wanted to hide your identity, Your Highness. Inside they were baking different things. Wow, this is a masterpiece, Rachel exclaimed. The fresh cream is nice and cool, perfect for a day like today, right? I made the custard a little sweeter on purpose, Rachel said with a hopeful smile. How is it, Jade? It's really yummy, Jade replied without hesitation. Matilda said. As expected, my lady, Jade interjected. You're the best. You've got magic hands, Rachel, he chuckled softly. I'm so glad I came by today. Rachel, Matilda cut in, frowning. Jade quickly corrected himself. I mean boss. Seeing that, Rachel said to Matilda inwardly. Isn't it a little too early for you to be acting like a supervisor? Before Rachel could reply, a strange sound came from outside. SHK, SHK. The group froze. What are those noises? Rachel asked. It's not just me, right? I hear them too, Jade confirmed. What's going on out there? Rachel whispered. She peeked outside only to see a group of strangers trimming weeds in front of the bakery. All of them gets shocked. What is that? Rachel blinked. Looking outside, Rachel thought, why are strangers trimming weeds in front of our bakery? They're not going to ask us for money later, are they? Matilda muttered suspiciously. Jade tilted his head, watching them carefully. They're all doing such a great job, Rachel added. Instead of just standing here, maybe I should offer them something to cool off. Suddenly, one of the strangers stepped forward and shouted, voice trembling with righteous fire. Show yourself, witch! All of them get startled. Rachel went to the bot and greeted. Welcome to Rachel Bakery. Looking at him, she thought, a customer? Right in the middle of all this? Reuben's guard said, we did see the holiday sign at the front, but Rachel said calmly, today is our day off. But since you came all the way here in this heat, would you like to try a new product we're developing? No, Reuben shouted. Who knows what tricks the witch has put in it? Witch? Rachel echoed. That's right, the boy insisted, fists clenched. I've heard the rumors and came here myself to expose you. After the ancient dragon who shared its power died, all true magic vanished from this world. Sure, there were still witches who could use magic, but they were the ones who killed the dragon to hoard its power. They were punished and perished long ago. Now all that's left are magic crystals that gather mana from the air, and magical tools that let us tap into that power. But now a witch has shown up again. This is unforgivable. Rachel blinked, then offered a small smile. Wow, you know all those legends? You're very smart, sir. The boy flushed red, clearly not expecting praise. However, Rachel continued gently, I'm not a witch. He flinched. What? She replied. People just like calling me that for some reason. Is that so? I can't believe it, the boy muttered. I'll have to see for myself, Rachel replied. Then please wait a moment. I'll show you the magical trick I used. She took them inside and shows him her trick to bake cookies. Tada! How about that? Magical enough to cause a little misunderstanding? One of his guards said. For safety, I'll taste it first. He took a bite. His eyes widened. It tastes like pure, sweet freedom bliss. Is it really that good? The boy asked, amused. As he took a bite, the boy nearly shouted. It's so good I can't even describe it with the words I know. This pastry is amazing. I'll buy a whole box. Will this be enough? He reached into his pouch with frantic hands and pulls out money. Rachel raised her palms quickly. No, this is just a test batch. It's a bit much for sampling, but for your help with the weeds, I'll give you a box. Next time, come with your brother. I'll have another tasty treat waiting for you then. While leaving, the boy exclaimed, all right. So it wasn't witchcraft, it was just something really tasty. His escort knights sighed in relief. Thank goodness, your highness. Rachel's staff exchanged glances, whispering among themselves. So it turns out they were all escort knights for that little guest. He's probably from a powerful family, right? For someone his age to know so much about magical history. This might be a new VIP client in the making, Matilda whispered excitedly. Maybe at the very least, Rachel said with a sigh of relief. No one around that kid will call me a witch again. Not that there was ever any real reason to in the first place. Boss, you're super popular with kids too, Jade cheered. I bet his brother will fall in love with your baking too. Then Matilda said, your plan to turn one customer into two was genius. Plus, you dodged the whole potential weed clearing invoice thing. Rachel laughed, exasperated. Oh, come on. Let's go get something to eat already. Later elsewhere, hushed voices spoke in secrecy. Daniel said, looking at the documents. So, once preparations for export are complete, we'll reveal that it's a diamond mine. Rachel asked. Do you think we can fool the Crown Prince until then? Daniel replied. It won't be easy to fool him completely. Things would be simpler if we weren't in such a hostile position. But I heard a rumor that you told the Crown Prince you'd never sell him the painting. Yes, Rachel said firmly. And I still have no intention to. Then he asked. In that case, Rachel, how long do you plan to keep Dawn? Well, Rachel's eyes softened. Until someone who truly needs it comes along. Reuben took the cookies that Rachel gave to his brother. The prince asked. Where did you get this, Reuben? He replied innocently. Well, it was so good that I wanted to share it with you, the prince advised. Don't eat food from outside the palace so carelessly. If it's not verified and something goes wrong, it could be dangerous. Reuben humped in his brother's lap and snuggled. He said, "Yes, brother. But don't worry. One of the knights tasted it first." The prince giggled. All right. By the way, where did you buy it?" he replied. "From Lil Frost. If you have time, I'd love to go with you next time. The owner said she'd give us something on the house," the prince replied. "Of course, Reuben. How could I not make time for you?" Reuben exclaimed. "Yay!" The prince thought, so it was Lil Frost again. Back to Daniel and Rachel's conversation. Rachel imagined the crown prince was probably furious right now, but he wasn't the type to break the rules of fair play. "If I stay firm and play it straight, he won't keep targeting the painting," Daniel questioned. "Then who on earth are you?" she replied. "That, you'll find out later. Anyway, I've still got work to do, so I'll get going now." She stood up saying that. Daniel offered, "It's dangerous at night. Allow me to escort you." She refused. "You're busy too, Daniel. I brought a guard, so I'll be fine," Daniel added. "Then at least take this jacket. The temperature drops at night," she replied. "I get hot easily, so I'll be fine without it." Suddenly he pulls out an ice pack and said, "Then I'll get you an ice pack," she asked. "You've got something like that? Seems like you're the one who needs it more." He placed it across her face and said, "It's a new magic item we're distributing through the Denave Guild. I'm fine without it. Let's just trade something instead," she exclaimed. "Ooh, this really is cool. Then I'll bring you a whole bottle of lemon syrup," Daniel asked. "Lemon syrup, is that a new menu item?" Rachel said. "Our one and only VVIP customer picked it as the next new item." Hearing that, Daniel flinched and asked, "One and only VVIP, you say?" She replied, "Yes. We finally have one. You're still gold tier, but if you work hard enough you might get there." Daniel asked, "If they're a VVIP, it might be someone I know," she replied. "Maybe, but I promise to protect the customer's privacy," he asked. "So if I become a VVIP, will you make something just for me?" She smiled warmly and replied, "Of course. Not every VVIP gets custom items, but you're a valuable business partner and a friend. So start thinking about your menu request," he replied. "All right. I'll look forward to it. Just don't overwork yourself for my sake." Later, one of Daniel's subordinate hound reported, "As instructed, I've been refilling the flower stocks so that Lady Rachel wouldn't notice any shortage. She doesn't seem to have suspected a thing," Daniel replied. "No, I doubt that. Rachel has sharp instincts and a good head for business. She's probably already noticed the amount. Find and destroy the records. Burn them if necessary. Just make sure it doesn't interfere with operations," he replied. "I'll take care of it promptly." Then Daniel tapped on the table asking, "Who is the VVIP customer of Rachel Bakery?" Hound gulped then. He replied, It's Duke Karhan Hessen," Daniel asked. "Is that true?" He replied, "Yes. When she was at the first shop, he didn't place any advance orders, but once she moved to the second location, he disappeared for a while." Upon hearing that, Daniel thinks in his mind, "So he's even followed her to the second location?" he asked. "Have you ever seen them speak directly?" His subordinate replied, "No. They usually talk inside, out of sight." Daniel thinks in his mind, "I was there from the beginning. Every time something came up, I stepped up to help. I thought I was the only one truly supporting Rachel. But," he recalled Rachel saying, "not every VVIP gets custom items, but you're a valuable business partner and a friend." He continued thinking, "Which means that VVIP customer must be someone with a similarly close bond. Maybe even closer than I am. More than I, a valuable business partner and a friend. And it's Duke Hessen? He's not even interested in bread or pastries. Then, he hasn't been working as the Crown Prince's right hand at all. He must be using the bakery as a cover, pretending to order just to seduce Rachel." Later, inside the bakery, Rachel said aloud, "Today, I need to sterilize the bottles for the fruit syrup." Just then Matilda came and said, "My lady, there's an emergency." Rachel turned to her. Matilda said. "The strawberries, they look way too delicious," Rachel said. "Ah, right," Matilda asked after picking one. "Can I eat one?" Rachel replied. "You can have two." Then one of the guard also asked, "Then may I have just one as well?" Rachel replied. "Of course, have three," he replied. "Thank you. Then I'll happily have three," Matilda remarked. "You must have picked some really good strawberries. They're great." Looking at them, Rachel thought, why does it feel like I'm playing house with a bunch of kids? I miss Irene. Just then Daniel's subordinate came and said, the ledger with the inflated flour stock has arrived. Rachel said, thank you as always, Hound. I've just washed some fresh strawberries. Do you want a few before you go? He replied. No, I'm fine. Then I'll be off to get back to work now. Saying that, he hurriedly left. Rachel smiled, then looked at the ledger. She said in her mind, Hound really has no talent for acting. He does that every time he hands me a falsified ledger.